we're live on the Court Kings. We are here. We're back. I'm your host, Paulinho. I got here Eric. And I got Quan the Don. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
good,
What's up, fellas? Not much. Get my bad boy in here. We good.
Like I said, you
nice
two on the
chatting
app,
with
bro.
you, bro.
I don't care no more. I've been doing
I
this long enough
appreciate
to know. I don't care, bro. I let the beard.
Yeah, I appreciate
grow
that.
out.
Who we missing, Kelvin? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. So you got to understand, Jay doesn't care. He'll eat, he'll drink, he'll do whatever. On the wrestling show, he'll heat. My man will come out with his wife beater on, just be chilling. He don't care.
Listen, bro. There's only 24 hours in a day. I got to multitask. I don't got time.
Yeah, for real. No, I hear that. Shit. All right. Well, listen. I don't know
if Calvin's in the picture, but it's us. So Eric is the newest here member on the Sports Rock Analyst. He's coming from Boston. You know, he's trying to find his car keys. Not sure if it's car keys or cat keys. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. That whole accident thing.
The only thing we find here is trophies, so y'all keep that in mind. That's how we drive. We drive and go.
I don't know. Yeah. Tampa Bay's played for the San
Antonio
Championship
Finals again. If there's any championships, I let them have. It's all in hockey. They can have them all. It's all good with me. They can have them all. Hockey MLS, Zach. You can have them all.
MLS, right?
Listen, man. Well, listen. I'm excited. This is obviously the first time I get to join you guys. We've already had a few heated debates. They all been great. Just a little bit. But yeah, man, I'm excited. The NBA offseason is just about to start. I know I asked you guys a few questions recently, just recalling talking about the Knicks, but we wanted to break down the Atlantic Division. Oh, and do you have the same mic too? Is that? I know you're bugging. That's not the same mic, is it?
What's the man?
It's the same mic. Yo, I'm telling you, we was meant to be cool. I know the sports bring us out of divide, but I'm telling y'all, like New York.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. That's the passion, bro. That's the passion.
Give me 6 months. That's all I'm gonna say. Give me 6
months.
Give me 6 months. Crazy. Just give me 6 months.
Well, listen, I thought it'd be great. We can discuss the Atlantic Division in the NBA, kicking off the off season. And I actually think the Atlantic Division is one of the best divisions in the NBA right now. 4 teams that are pretty good. 3 out of contenders. One that obviously has just won the championship not too long ago in the Raptors. And we got Japan's Knicks, the team that kind of needs to catch up to speed there. But with this division alone, I think it's one of the most intriguing divisions. I actually just asked Jaquan, the next image there, appeal, why they're not appealing to players right now, some of the stars. He told me a little bit of the vibe, what's going on internally. And I actually thought that was pretty interesting. But listen, I think the Knicks, we can probably start off with them, right? Actually, I'll let you kick it off, Quan, because I want to hear your passion. But, tell me a little bit where you think the Knicks are at right now, some of the biggest changes they need to make, just from your perspective as a fan, and maybe something that you think needs to happen internally.
I think people are still really distracted by the fact that it's taken the Knicks so long to win that they don't actually see the phase that the Knicks are in. Both your teams went through it. The Nets went through it right before they got Kyrie and KD, before they became competitive. They were they could go anywhere from 6 to 10 at one point just by playing the players that they had. Boston went through it too after the whole Paul Pierce thing. Before they got one, they had to lose a lot to get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Both, I think, actually were the Nets picks, but that's
they were.
But again,
they were.
They still had pretty decent picks in order to build to where they are now. And everyone that's on that team in Boston pretty much are not bought. They were picked. They were guys that are homegrown. And right before the team took off, they had to cultivate that homegrown talent. That's where the Knicks are. They're at the point where they have a lot of young talent. They just have to figure out what everyone's role is and what to do with it. And this is where the Knicks always get to. They always have a collection of young talent, and they always have a choice to mortgage the future for the right now and give themselves maybe a 2.5-year window to win everything, or to continue to build where they are and just accumulate really good talent. It's just a matter, every GM has always made the choice of, screw it, we're going to go all in right now, and it never works. The only Knicks teams that were successful were the ones that were built, not bought. So, do I think we need a big trade? Yeah. Do I think it's for an established superstar? No.
Okay.
Not.
So here's what I think I want to divide the line at, right? When you refer back to those Knicks teams, that's when players were pretty much loyal, when they weren't really moving around as much, right? So you kind of had to build organically. You had to draft somebody. Typically, that player was going to stick around. That's not today's society. You can draft a guy. Once he's done with his second deal, he's out. So,
but where's he going? Where's he going? Where's he going?
Well, he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
Where's he going, though? More times.
Depends on who's out there.
No, more times than not, they're going to teams that are already built.
Well,
that's my point. They're going to teams where their friends are, where their friends built the culture from the ground up, and they're going to play with their friends who already have an established culture, who already have an established coach, who already has an established. Again, Brooklyn is the exception, not the rule.
I was about to say Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is the exception, not the rule. And that's what everybody keeps pointing to. Everybody keeps saying, well, Brooklyn did it. Brooklyn is the exception, not the rule. Who else did? Who else bought their entire team?
The Lakers.
Outside of the Lakers.
Okay. All right. Well, you're taking options.
Think about it this way: the Lakers literally they clustered a bunch of them, right? Then they sent Brandon Ingram, all those guys. It was like, oh, we're gonna go get AD. Why did they get AD? Because LeBron came. So they're like, oh, let's go and get him a guy. Let's go and get AD, which is cool. I understand that. But they had that one run for the championship in the bubble, and has been what since?
Yeah, I understand that, but that's the point of making those moves. You make that trade to win that one championship,
right? But you also have to bring the one guy in. That's my thing. You have to bring the one guy in,
and that's where I'm getting to. Do you feel the Knicks are trying to do that? Do you feel like they're being risky? You have to try to identify that one guy.
Risky for an established star, like
I know, but
you
get that one.
No, I'm recording.
The rumors right now are they're trying to get that kid Ivy from Purdue, who's an established point guard, who is essentially has everything that they're looking for outside of a jump shot, which I have my own opinions on, but I understand you can't have the perfect prospect. The perfect prospect doesn't exist. So I see what they're doing, and I see that they know that they have chips and they have established guys that can help contenders. So from all I'm hearing, they're trying to either trade up to 7 or they're trying to trade up to 4. And I think that's them being aggressive, because it's like, listen, we've targeted guys that we think can help our organization go to the next step, and it takes the ball out of RJ's and Julius's hand and gives it into a real point guard so that we can actually function like a team. Essentially what they need to do right now. And allowing RJ to be a scorer,
and the thing
allowing Julius to be a scorer. But again, it's finding the right guys that fit what you're trying to do, what your vision of the team is. And
the thing is, in New York, no matter the sport, it's gonna get you. You got to have a thick skin.
That's the second. That was going to be the latter half of my argument. When it comes to established stars, how many guys are you looking at right now that's like, you know what, I'm gonna go somewhere? Because think about it. Kevin Durant went to the Nets, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have all of the benefits of being in New York with none of the pressure of being in New York. I will say this: there there isn't any pressure for Brooklyn to win a championship
You know what?
until
I disagree. Go, Paul. I disagree.
No. What I was gonna say is KD. What I've heard, you guys probably heard it too. KD was going to go. His first option was the Knicks. He was going to go to the Knicks, and we all had the inkling because of the fact he took his company out of the Bay Area and literally moved him to New York City. So his thing was he was going to go to the Knicks. That was his option. And then Kyrie stepped up and he talked to him like, "Yo, let's go to Brooklyn. Let's do this." He literally convinced him and talked him out of signing with the Knicks or talking to the Knicks and going to Brooklyn.
Again,
Jay,
I'm
I know
at
it
the
hurts you
point
and bothers
now
you.
where it's just I'm so used to it because this is what always happens with the Knicks is that the Knicks can put the people want to blame the Knicks, but it's like how it's the equivalent to the Jets and Tyreek Hill. How much do you want me to do when to the point where you stop blaming me? It's like that boyfriend. Like, I can give you everything you want, but if you don't want me, I can't do nothing about it. And that's the biggest thing is you have to, the last player that actually had the balls and the gumption to be like, you know what? The Knicks haven't won since 1973. Let's keep it a stack. You saw how good those playoffs runs were in the 90s, but they still can never get it done for one reason or another. I'm going to be the guy that's going to get it done. Yeah. The only guys that have actually taken on that responsibility are guys that are trying to elevate themselves to a superstar level, not already established superstars. Julius is trying to get to that pantheon of, I'm going to be mentioned with the top power forwards in the league. He's trying to get there, but he's way too inconsistent to get there.
So here's my argument on this, right? So two things. When KD and Kyrie went to Brooklyn, immediately, I disagreed. They were immediately expected to win the championship. Even me and Boston,
not because they're in New York.
Not because they're in New York. Because they teamed it together. But that put the expectation on Brooklyn. They were the targets in the Eastern Conference.
But you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
There's a difference between you're a great player and you're teaming with another great player, so you guys should win, versus you guys should win because you're in New York.
Okay. So
that's a completely
different
scenario. That's what I'm saying. The situation with the Nets is different. I'm not trying to devalue in any way, shape, or form.
I get what you're saying.
I'm never saying that, but think about it this way. Before Golden State won, the team before Golden State and the Clippers started winning, and before they made their own way, the team in California was always the Lakers, period. So if you went to the Lakers, period, the expectation was for you to win, period, right?
Yep.
Versus, the Clippers, outing their racist owner, and then drafting Blake Griffin, drafting DeAndre Jordan, and then bringing in Chris Paul. Then the expectation became, okay, so you guys have enough that you should win.
Okay.
Then the expectation became winning. Golden State, there was no expectation for them. They drafted Steph. They had Monster. The last time they won was the We Believe team, and there wasn't any expectation to win. It was literally, we believe we can win because we have a bunch of goons that are a bunch of ballers. But there wasn't any expectation there. It wasn't until Steph won, and then he did it again. And then he did it again that it's like, oh, this is a dynasty. So as long as Steph's here, the expectation is for them to win.
So the problem with the Knicks, right? Here's why I think they need to be risky. If you look at the Knicks as a whole, you look at the culture that you're describing, it's almost like you want to play it as, let's draft, let's build, let's do this the right way, right? But if you look at the NBA and throw the Knicks into it, just in the Atlantic Division alone, you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? For the next however many years they're in Boston. You got Kyrie and Durant, right? For the next maybe 3-4 years in Brooklyn, right? Then on top of that, you got the Raptors. The Raptors, maybe not the biggest problem right now, but they are a good team. And then you got the 76ers. May got them for another 3-4 plus years, right? You can try to play the long game and suck for the next 4 to 5 years, right? I don't think RJ Barrett's pushing needles maybe as much as you guys are, but there's the point. Maybe I use RJ Barrett in a pick and bring somebody in here who can bring in one of those top tier guys. Because I can comfortably tell you, RJ Barrett isn't going to attract any top tier player to come play with him in New York. How do you get that guy? Do you use him as a piece to get somebody there who can bring them. Because I can tell you right now, the way that the Celtics are stacked up alone, that if you look at their two stars and their age, you're going to play a real long game as the Knicks. Just trying to get over the guys that's a state away, let alone the rest of the Eastern Conference. It's like at some point you gotta press the detonate, but like we gotta go now, right? It's been 73. We've seen the Raptors win a championship. But that's the thing, though. It's like how long is the long game, though? It's like we heard of Phillies.
Again,
we heard of Phillies.
The problem is you're looking at the run of the Knicks as a whole. You're looking at it from. You're not looking at it from it.
Yeah.
This is a completely separate regime that just got together 2 years ago. I'm not gonna blow it up for 2 years. I'm not gonna blow it up in 2 years.
I get your point, but my thing is for the Knicks, though, it's like, when does it matter to you? Players in the NBA don't respect your organization right now, right?
And that's
when
fine.
You start,
and again,
I know, but
my biggest thing is your expectation.
Yep.
The way you see RJ Barrett was the way everybody saw Jaylen Brown until Jaylen Brown shut them up. Everybody said Jaylen Brown's gonna be but Jason Tatum's the guy. You know, again, you guys had back-to-back top 3 picks. The one thing we haven't had was back-to-back top 3 picks.
Yep.
Now that changes tomorrow if we can get up to 4 and get a guy like Ivy. That changes the narrative. Because again, we need a big deal, but again, the big deal usually means you need to go and get an established superstar.
And
to me, that's not the big deal. The big deal is we have to go all in on youth.
Let me ask you, if you guys land Ivy tomorrow, do you guys think you're on the level with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics?
We're not trying to be there right now.
But that's the thing. You got to beat
that's
these
the thing.
guys.
I'm not trying to be at the level of the Brooklyn Nets.
So what is the long
trying to be
game?
at the level of the 8, 7, 6 teams right now.
But that's not going to work in New York, right? This is the argument that we're having.
But that mindset is the problem. That's why everybody else wins and we don't win. Because you can't do that in New York. Who the fuck says that? Who said that?
The problem is that the Knicks is the same thing that the Jets fans have.
Yeah,
they want a Band-Aid to fix to win now.
Most of us now, and that's the problem because we're looking at Brooklyn. You can't do it because now you're in a situation where, again, we'll probably touch on it later.
Tough.
Now you're in a situation where it's volatile. Like one false move and that whole castle of cards comes down. Now, I understand what you're saying. At least they were relevant. At least they were there. At least they're in a
season was fun.
But my biggest thing is, cool, we were there in 2012, 2013 too, and we saw how that ended. And then we saw what happens when you try to do too much too fast. The Knicks have made every mistake in the book, and you're asking us to do it again. You're asking us to make the mistake.
The thing is, here's my thing. The thing is, the players need to literally put on the big boy pants and be like, if they like, Amari Stoudemire was the last player that was like, you know what, I'm going to New York. Fuck this shit. Let me take this on my back. He did it, and then they literally messed up. That's when they started messing up because they traded for Carmelo. Instead of like, you know what, you went out. We'll wait till you're a free agent. We'll pick you up. We ain't gonna lose nothing. They gave up pieces for Carmelo when he was literally.
And even if you went to
everybody knew he was going from New York.
The problem
New York
is
literally.
James Dolan stepped in and said, I'm going to sweeten the pot. And James Dolan made that deal.
Okay, listen.
When the GM at the time didn't want to make that deal.
Yeah, the Knicks literally out, like they screwed themselves. They outbid themselves for no reason. There was no reason. They'd like, oh, we'll give you the second and a cash considerations or whatever, and a G League player and a European player that hasn't come and won't ever come. And none of them like, you know what, it's better than nothing. Because they were literally going to get nothing in return because he was going to leave.
Promising Gallinari, we gave up a center that we could have developed at least into something. We gave up Wilson Chandler. Wilson Chandler, I knew was going to leave anyway because we couldn't afford him. But we gave up the nucleus of our team for one player and said, hey, we'll figure it out. And they never figured it out.
But that's back when the Celtics were put together in Miami. The problem is you made the right move at that point. The trade, I understand. Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. This is my opinion here. Hear me out.
No.
If you take a guy in the trade, the one thing that you're ensuring is that you get him. If you get him to free agency, who knows who comes into the party and changes this man's mind? These players, just because he wanted to get to New York doesn't mean he was going to sign a free agency. Somebody else could have came into the picture. You guys got your guy. Getting Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire was a great move, right? It didn't work out, but I would have made that trade 100% of the time. You can
I
trash it
would
down in hindsight.
I would have made
But
the
at the
deal to
time,
get
that was a good
Here's
trade. I'm not
again. I would have made the deal to get Melo. I would not have made that deal to get Melo. That is my thing. Because you have to.
Yeah,
Because
you gotta
again,
think,
the
the
problem is
Nuggets
everybody
had their
else
backs
thinks
against
the
the
Knicks are
wall.
more desperate than they ever are. Because everybody else is like, well, you got to catch up with this team and that team. When in reality, it's you versus you. I'm not trying to compete with the Celtics because we're not going to win 17 championships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to compete with Brooklyn. But again, I'm not trying to compete with Brooklyn because Brooklyn has always going to be the people that are going to do their own thing. I'm not trying to compete with Toronto because it's Toronto. At the end of the day, if we would have sent them Wilson Chandler and that's it and kept Gallo, and we would have had a trio of Melo, Gallo, and Amari Stoudemire, that would have been a far better team. And then
but it wouldn't have won you anything, though.
We didn't do anything anyway.
I know, but I'm saying like
But
you
again,
make
and then on top of that,
you make these trades to give yourself a shot.
Could have brought in Raymond Felton. We still could have made those same moves.
Yeah, but you make
would have
these
had
trades.
a third young scorer.
But the thing is, you're assuming that Carmelo would have definitely signed. I'm saying the one thing that you do.
What I'm saying is we make the same deal. We make the same deal. All the same deal happens, but we don't include Danilo Gallinari. Is what I'm saying.
And then that beats that Boston Celtics team and that Miami Heat team.
If we add all the pieces that we had when we made that run, we got Tyson. We got Tyson. We got Raymond Felton. We had all of those guys. We got Shumpert. We still would have made the same moves. We still would have made the same moves that bust LeBron ass when we had Melo, but he would have had a sidekick that wasn't always injured. Because the reason why the Knicks didn't win was because Amari was never available.
All right, cool.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that
these start flaring up again.
Move should have been made. I'm saying the type of move that needed to be made is different, and I'm in the same boat now. I'm not saying a move does not need to be made. Do I think we should go out and get Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I don't think they should have made that.
But it's always at the right price. Okay. And I'm not willing to mortgage the future, because at the end of the day, if we don't mortgage the future, we're still in good shape. We still have young guys. We still have two of their draft class. We still have two of the top 10 talents from that draft class.
Okay.
We still have Emmanuel Quickley, who's one of the better young guards. We still have Obi Toppin, who could develop into pretty much anything.
Okay.
We still have those guys. And if I'm not mistaken, we still beat y'all niggas, even with a trash-ass team. We still beat y'all niggas. So I don't know why y'all Boston fans keep talking all that shit.
I mean, because we made it to the finals. Listen. I don't know what else to tell you. You can't come for the team that made it to the finals. But either way,
I'm not.
Listen.
All you did was get further than everybody else. That's it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can't say what we're doing is wrong if we still beat y'all ass.
I mean, listen, just because y'all won a season game doesn't mean all right, fine. Well, that's a whole different topic. What do you think is some off-season moves that they need to make to be better this upcoming season?
I think they need to find younger veterans. They need to get guys in the building with a lot more upside and force Thibodeau to play youth versus relying on his older veterans so much. Because the problem with the Knicks right now is Tom Thibodeau. It's not even the talent. It's Tom Thibodeau. Because at the end of the day, the fact that Alec Burke is playing more than Cam Reddish is crazy. The fact that everybody, the young guys outside of RJ Barrett had to wait until the latter half of the season to even get real playing time is ridiculous. The fact that Julius Randle, no matter how bad he played, was the Knicks were gonna live and die with Julius Randle, when clearly Obi Toppin outplayed him towards the end of the season. You have to have a coach that is flexible, that can go with who's hot, and do a lot of what Miami does. Because I look at teams like Miami, I look at the way Golden State operates, I look at a healthy Milwaukee, where if their guy's not going, the coach isn't afraid to shake it up. The coach isn't afraid to pull their guy and be like, you know what, we're going to ride with who we have. We're going to trust our defense. We're going to trust our team. Even to a degree, Boston. I look at the way Boston's built. Even when Tatum wasn't going, they still was like, you know what? We're going to adjust. We're going to focus on our defense, and we're going to adjust. Thibodeau does not make adjustments. And that, to me, is the most frustrating part about watching the Knicks, and partially why I kind of had to step away, because I'm like, all right, this shit isn't changing. So there's no reason for me to watch the rest of these games.
Paul, what about you? What do you think is the biggest change or any offseason plans the Knicks should make?
Oh, we got to re-sign Mitchell Robinson. That's another thing. We have to re-sign Mitchell.
I like Thibodeau. Yeah. The thing about Thibodeau is he's a good coach, but the problem is his rotations is small. He literally goes through like a small 8-man rotation, and it hurts the team because then they get gassed out. He needs to just start trusting the young ones and just giving them a chance. He literally traded for Cam Reddish. Then there's a report that they may be trading him. They may be trading him away now too. Got this kid. This kid's talented. Like, why? Like, give him a shot. Like, let him go. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I've seen this before. Their coaches are very stubborn. They'll only play players, or veteran players, that they believe works in their system. You have young guys. They won't mentor them. They won't tutor them. They won't guide them. They won't push them to get into there. So they keep their rotation small. And then they wonder why the team is failing and like done by the end of the season. They're gassed out because you only rely on this small group.
And they wonder why guys are inconsistent when they come in. It's like, well, they're not in rhythm.
You played them one time this month, and like
practice is supposed to
one
get
time
guys
last
in rhythm,
month. What do you expect?
It doesn't. Guys don't get in rhythm that way.
No.
All right.
No. The one thing is we have to remember RJ Barrett just turned 22. He's still young. So it's like everybody's like, oh, he traded him. Like, he's still young, man. He's just turned 22. Give him another 2 years. Like you can't just go off for 3 years. Like, he had a good year.
30 and
he had a down year. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
He has to find consistency.
But I agree, he's still young. So we'll give him that. What do you guys do with Kemba Walker?
Oh, he's being traded. When he went away from the team, that was already decided. They decided to go. I don't know how they're.
I didn't think his deal was as bad.
Again, it was only like a 2-year deal. So worst case scenario, they'll buy him out. He'll go somewhere. That is. Yeah,
I didn't think his deals were as bad as they were. I was like, somebody told me these are bad. I was like, again, nah, they're not that bad.
I feel for Kemba, but Kemba knows he didn't play well. The Knicks know he didn't play well, and he can't play with Thibodeau because Thibodeau likes to run his guards into the ground. Again, it's a Thibodeau problem. It's not necessarily the players, because you very much could have saved Kemba a lot. No. You could have played him a lot more games if you would have trusted McBride a lot earlier, because McBride really, to me, is the guy who should have seen a lot of those minutes with D Rose and Kemba. It should have been a 3-man rotation, and McBride, if for no other reason than he's the best defensive option at guard, and he was drafted for his defense, so let him play. He's a shooter. He went to the G League and damn near set the record for the franchise for most threes in a game the next night after playing on the Knicks. So you can't sit up here and tell me. And I think he had a triple-double the next night with like 9 threes. So you can't tell me it's not there. Sure. It's just Thibodeau not playing him. So it's, again, the problem is the coach. It's not the players.
All right. And what do you guys think is the one story out of New York? Internally, players, what's the one thing that's not being discussed? Maybe a big change that needs to be made. Like I said, personally, I just think it's the ownership and the management. I think there needs to be a change there. I think the image of the Knicks is broken. It's players don't look at the Knicks the way they're supposed to look at the Knicks. There should be an icon team, a place that I want to go to, a Margo, Rap City, New York, the media. Like, this should be, I want to play for the Big Apple at Madison Square Garden. These superstars do not see it like that right now.
Well, again, you're saying management. I think the management we have in place right now is incredible.
Okay.
Leon Rose and the team that he put together is phenomenal. They have guys who are heavy influencers in basketball. The problem, even though he hasn't been a problem in like 6 years, is the fact that James Dolan's name is still attached to it.
That's why I referred to. I say, man, yep.
That is the big, black spot, because he's done so much damage that there really isn't any coming back from it. So until the team wins, and it's just like the team wins in spite of James Dolan's name, because the reality is James Dolan has not touched this team since he made the mistake with Phil Jackson. He hasn't touched the team. And people want to keep holding on to this whole, and that's my problem, is that it's a media-driven adage, and it's a constant thing that as soon as New York does something that's bad, it sticks to them like funk for like the next 7 years until they win. Where in reality, all the narratives about New York, at least from an internal standpoint and what actually is going on, doesn't exist. The James Dolan thing doesn't exist. Players think it does, but it doesn't exist. The whole idea that the Knicks don't have talent doesn't exist. The fact that players want to play for Tibbs doesn't exist. All the players love Thibodeau. It's just obvious that the rotations are too short, and he's not willing to adapt the way he does things. But they have guys like Johnny O'Brien. They have guys that people love. Where in reality, if the Knicks were to fire Thibodeau tomorrow and put Johnny O'Brien as the head coach, I guarantee you, even if the Knicks don't win as much next year, the Knicks image will instantly change. Instantly.
What's the record? What's the record the Knicks need to have to turn the media in their favor? Where do they have to get next season?
They have to get 45 wins.
Okay.
They have to get 45 wins, and they have
first round, second round.
It doesn't matter first round, second round,
okay.
Honestly.
Just the playoff. Okay.
They need to get 45 wins. I don't know if that means a playoff. I just know they need to get 45 wins. And the wins have to be led by a group of young players. Okay. And then on top of that, the Knicks have to, for the first time since I think '84, they have to extend RJ. They have to prove to people that this is our guy. We're invested, and we invest in our guys. Another problem with the image of the Knicks is if I go there, they're not going to take care of me. They're not going to love me. I mean, yeah, they took care of Julius, but Julius is the guy that they brought in. And they're paying him 5 years for the one great year he had. Yeah. Versus RJ, who came in, went through the struggle, grew in the system, grew with the city. The city loves him. Bless that man, pay that man, make sure that you say, like, nah, this is our future. Julius, we paid him because he gave us that run and he gave us that breath of fresh air, and that's great. But this is the guy that we're going to ride or die with. And once they do that and they say, listen, RJ's our guy, and RJ is securely that guy, then RJ can be like, you know what? Because RJ has people in the league. Not even people in the league. He has people in Canada, which right now is a boiling basketball powerhouse. And there's a lot of really good Canadian players that are sitting in the league. I look at a guy like Jamal Murray, like, is Denver going to keep him around? I don't know. But I mean, if RJ's like, yo, Jamal, like, you're not going to get no love in Denver. They ain't going to give you shit. They already done moved on from you. Come over here, drop 20 points for us. You think Knicks fans are going to be mad if we get Jamal Murray? Hell no. It's
a point guard issue.
We re-signed Mitchell Robinson. That's another one of our guys. Then we have our linchpin at center. And then, again, if Obi or Quick, depending on what Obi and Quickly turn into, you either pay those guys or you let them go or you use them as trade bait. But they're still young enough where we don't know. Again, the main thing that I understand where you're coming from, because from the outside, it's like you guys need to do something. Yeah. But what you guys aren't seeing is the Knicks' problem has never been making the big move. It's been making the smart move, the consistent move. Because, again, if I'm like, yo, Eric, come live in my neighborhood, bro. Like, we gonna bless you, we got you. Versus I'm moving here and they gonna kick me out for you. Who are you? If you know that they're kicking me out and they're trying to bring you in, you're gonna be like, but you just kicked my boy out and he been doing everything to bless you. Like, why the fuck am I gonna go there?
Yeah.
Versus the Nets that, again, they moved to the city in like 4 years ago. They're so new, there isn't a lot of homegrown talent. And the homegrown talent that they moved out, they brought in big names so that the winning covers all of that shit up. They don't need to develop players. They have KD and Kyrie. What happens after KD and Kyrie? It don't matter. We're going to win with KD and Kyrie. They're both young enough.
Actually, this is probably a good time. Probably a good time to transfer right into KD. Goddamn, KD and Kyrie for Brooklyn Nets. Listen, I feel you on the Knicks. I personally think the captain soft, man, is that at some point you have to do something. I just don't know. Even if the talent develops the way you guys hope, I don't know how that stacks up against Brooklyn and the Celtics. And overall, the only reason why you put these teams together is to win a championship. If you're looking to just make the playoffs, you're on the right track.
But again, you make the move when you consistently prove that you can win. Then you know what you need to win. Because if I don't know what I'm missing, and I'm just like, oh, I just need talent. But if I'm getting talent that doesn't help me win, what's the point of me getting talent? If I'm winning and I'm like, yo, I'm lacking this type of player, then I can target this type of player and be like, listen, bro, we can just bring you in. We're ready to go. We're set, ready to go. Like, we just need you to come and give us that little nitro boost. Then it's like, oh, it's like Chris Paul with Phoenix. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, you got all these young guys. You got the guy. So I can just come in and, get in and fit it. We're not there yet. And I
got a different mindset on that. I always think you go ahead and get the pillar and then you adjust your system.
We have our pillar. Y'all just don't believe in our pillar. And that's cool.
Listen, you're right.
The thing is sometimes if you bring in a player and they don't gel, you literally. All right, so let's say you were saying you wanted Beal, right? You have to adjust the system and you have to adjust the player. Sometimes if you adjust the player too much, he's not as effective as he normally will be. And that's where you have to be careful who you bring in. You just cannot bring anybody. That's why we were talking about earlier. It's like Beal might not work with the Celtics because of the fact the ball movement has to be there, And it literally, then at the end of the day, it's like you're like, well, Beal, you suck. No one does.
If anything, John Wall fits better with that team.
You made out the adjustments, it just didn't work.
John Wall fits exactly what you guys need.
Yeah. No, he
but he just costs too damn much.
Yeah, sorry, that'd be an issue. Listen, $47 million.
I don't know.
Too much for I would say this: like Bill would work on our team as well. He's actually good off the ball. You run him off some picks, you can send him open. Like, look, the Celtics have done it before. I know you get not just because players dominantly played on the ball means they always have to play on the ball. There are certain players like Westbrook that absolutely needs the ball in his hands to be dominant because he don't have a jump shot. He doesn't. So with that being said, he needs the ball to get to the basket. Bill, you can run him off screens. You get him open. You run actions. You can flash Jason Tatum. You can do high pick screen in a row with Jason or Jalen. Like it'll work.
Who's doing that?
You're right. You can't put any talent together. But if you get shooters, more often than not,
but who's giving them the ball?
AD, Clay, and Steph. You put shooters together more often, they're going to work because you can run them off.
Who's giving them the ball?
Did you see how many shots Marcus Smart shot? He'll get the shots. Marcus Smart averaged like 15 shots a game. That's enough.
Who's giving them the ball?
Oh, who's giving the ball? Yeah, we need a floor general. Yeah.
At the end of the day, everything you're saying is absolutely correct. You could do this, you could do that, but the only way you're doing that is to go out and get a floor general. Just why I say,
bring them back.
Let's just continue talking about the Celtics.
Yeah,
we're talking about the Celtics. So, let's just go with the Celtics. Yeah. And that brings to the one issue you spoke earlier. What could the Celtics do? And I said the finals and the playoff run literally proved it. They need to reduce their turnovers, and by doing that, they literally need a pass first point guard.
Somebody call Rondo.
Marcus Smart is great.
Somebody call Rondo. Call
Rondo. Call Rondo. Bro.
Somebody call Rondo. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what y'all need because you're better off having Jason and Jalen just run and get open, come off screens, than having to worry to bring the ball up. Jason is a good player, but the fact that those turnovers killed him, and it's not his fault. It's not completely his fault. In the case being because of the fact that he was asked to bring the ball up. He shouldn't. It should be the point guard. Unfortunately, Marcus Smart is not that type of point guard. Marcus Smart is your defensive dog. He'll clamp you down, he'll clamp you to the perimeter. He does that. That's why I love Marcus Smart. But he's not your floor general like a Chris Paul is, or like other point guards we have out there that'll pass for
Mike Conley. Mike Conley is a prime example of the type of player that you guys need. I'm not saying Marcus Smart isn't a fantastic player, but you need somebody else. Marcus Smart is built ready-made to be your sixth man.
Yeah, and this is why I always say
that he had at Oklahoma.
When it comes to
literally, I loved him coming out of Oklahoma State, but exactly what you guys just did is exactly how they got it eliminated from the tournament at Oklahoma State. It's Fucking deja vu. Like,
Yep.
exactly how it happened.
Yeah, and that's why I always say when you're resigning players, you have to be careful not to overpay them. I know you want to give them like some kind of like extra money because of loyalty and because they were good for you guys. But no matter the team, you have to be careful. Like you sign a Marcus Smart for too much money, then you put yourself in a hole because literally Marcus Smart is again,
his
like
contract's
he's
very
a
tradable
great
right now.
sixth player.
I think he's 18 million. His contract's very tradable right now. We actually just
yeah, but the thing is, if you trade away Marcus Smart, you lose a very, very good asset for yourselves.
And that's what
I'm saying. So you don't really want to do that.
So we know that here in Boston, it feels like he means more to us than probably anybody else.
No.
Seriously. Like there was a point we couldn't even trade the guy. Like we were just asking just for a first round pick back, and we couldn't get it.
You're not going to get a first rounder for him, but he's essentially.
Oh, now we probably could. Defensive player of the year.
But here's the thing: he's essentially your Kyle Lowry. That's the best way I can magnify it. Is Toronto doesn't win that championship without Kyle Lowry, but Kyle Lowry didn't do much to win that championship. But they needed him on that team. Yeah. That is the like. He is literally the heart that pumps the blood through that Boston team.
But he's also the reason why we lose games.
If you take Boston,
that's the painful part about him, right?
Well,
he's the same guy. So he's also the reason why we lose games. It's the same guy who'll get that crucial steal for us, and he's the same guy who'll miss that three for us when he should be shooting it 5 times in the last minute.
Exactly.
Because he shouldn't be in the game.
Yeah.
I know.
He shouldn't be in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
He's not a first round pick.
Listen, he is number 6 overall. Listen, look, he needs to be in the game because he's the guy who's going to stop their best guy. The idea is from scoring in that last 2 minutes. He's the guy on the floor who can get that steal in the last 2 minutes of the game to get that crucial rebound, that crucial charge. You want him on the floor for that defensive play. But he comes down to offensive end, and he thinks he's
exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But that's the conundrum.
He's not a first rounder.
Yeah, but that's the problem with having him on the court. You want him. You understand why you need him. But he's the same guy that hurts at the end.
But he's a liability.
He's a liability. But he's all
liabilities are not first round picks.
Listen.
You get what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you. I'm a bigger Marcus Smart guy because, like I said, I'm crapping on him right now, but he's definitely won us some games, right? He's definitely
no, I know. I love Marcus Smart. At Oklahoma State, I love. But I love.
It's tough though because those guys that we mentioned, the Chris Pauls, the Mike Conleys, maybe Ronald's the most attainable guy to get who can just come in and run the floor and get the ball on people's spots. Those guys aren't really available. We're not even asking them to score the ball. Just take care of it. Just get our players the ball in the right spots. For no reason, there aren't many of those guys. It seems like every point guard at this point is a scorer first guard, right?
That is indicative of the basketball culture as a whole. That's the problem with American basketball in general. That's a different podcast for a different time.
Yeah.
But I've said the same thing multiple times.
So I guess what I'm getting at is you actually do want Marcus Smart on the floor for that exact reason. If you're going to have that guard,
you need him next to that guy. And that's exactly. But that's Marcus Smart combo guard. That's why I was like, I like that they started playing Tatum at the 4. I like that you can move a Jaylen Brown to the 3. Now, if there's a situation where, like, say you get a Bradley Beal, right? Does Marcus Smart respect Bradley Beal enough to be like, you know what? As much as I want to take this shot, Brad is open.
But that's the thing, though.
Difference.
That's the thing, though. I think if you get Bradley Beal,
enough respect for that guy.
If you get Bradley Beal, you have to piece with Marcus Smart. There's not enough shots in the game for Marcus Smart to get hits, and I think, listen, it'll create a problem in the locker room. Marcus Smart's not going to sacrifice too many of his shots. You would have to get rid of him and find a floor general. I think the biggest issues for the Celtics right now after watching the playoffs, I think we all can agree here. Turnovers was messy. They're very 3-point reliant. There were plenty of times, many games, I can tell you this as just watching every single one, don't get people in foul trouble very early. Like 5 minutes left in the quarter. They won't attack the basket. Klay Thompson can have 4 fouls, won't attack him. Draymond Green, same situation. They get so happy with jump shots, and it comes from all the wrong places, right?
I laugh because exactly what you're saying, exactly the problem with basketball in general. And I know I probably sound like the old guy, but literally that's what's wrong with basketball.
But
that is a cultural thing.
And this is why
evolution.
This is why a guy like Chris Paul is so like I say it like I know he's not coming to Celtics. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being delusional here by any means. But like a guy like him makes the most sense for any team. This is why when you play on teams, they win. Is when things get out of hand, he slow it down. He can get to the basket. He specializes in mid-range jump shots, like that little free throw jump shot, and he gets the ball in the air for alley hoops. He's the exact player that the Celtics would need that would have helped them beat Golden State. Guy like Marcus Smart was the answer. So for me, like the biggest change. Go ahead.
It's not that Marcus Smart wasn't the answer. Marcus Smart was effective because he was able to slow down the Splash Brothers and Steph and the perimeter. He was able to hold it down because if he wasn't there, I don't know if it doesn't go to Game 6. You know what I mean? It doesn't go to Game 6. I think it might be 4-1. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they were going to sweep them. I'm just saying it might be 4-1. You want a Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart can't be your starting point guard.
And that's why I agree.
If you want to make him a starting shooting guard because you have a Mike Conley type or a Chris Paul type at the point guard, that's fine because then your backcourt you have the floor general and you have the defensive dog right there, and you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown to make all your points, and you have the Williams up front. So you have your scorers up front and you have your defensive dog up the back with your floor general, which will work for you. But again, it's if you can find that, and then because you gave Marcus that money, that's why I always say when you're re-signing players, you have to be careful. Like Draymond is another example. Everybody says he's the heart. He says, I know, but he's not worth that because of the fact that, yes, he's the heart. Yes, he's all this, but you can only pay so much. He's not max level worthy.
I agree.
Because then you put yourself out.
Here's the thing. It's hard to make that argument when he's literally – in a lot of ways been the reason why they've won championships. So that's a harder argument to make. I would only present an alternative as if you look at what the Hornets did with Terry Rozier and you look at how much they paid him.
Let me ask you.
Look at, he's scary Terry, he's this and that. At the end of the year, they stopped playing him with LaMelo. Why? Because he was taking away from what makes the great players great.
Yep.
And he wasn't good for what, ultimately is great for the team. And that's what happens with Marcus Smart is he hurts you in those crucial moments more than he helps you, unfortunately. But he helps the team overall. The problem is that Marcus Smart's ego doesn't match his role.
Exactly. That's his problem. But I do agree with Paul with Draymond Green for sure. I do believe they still would have won. Hear me out. If you make a simple change, if it's PJ Tucker doing the same exact thing, do they still win?
Yeah, I believe so.
Can PJ Tucker pass the way he does though?
Okay.
Tucker orchestrate the middle.
It might not. I'll be honest. I'll be real. Draymond brings the ball up. Yes. Draymond can pass better. Yes. But I believe PJ's a better defender than Draymond.
I agree.
A better shooter.
But again, it's the problem is again, Draymond is a guy who's six. Let's be generous. He's 6'7", right? But he's doing what we never noticed Tim Duncan was doing, what we never noticed Shaq was doing, where he's facilitating from the middle of the floor, not the top of the key. Mm-hmm. And he's doing the handoffs. He's doing the screen. He's doing all the things that all the great big men did that we love. He's just 6'7" doing it. So it looks weird. And he's adding the fact that he can bring the ball up. But he's not, he hurts
that offense so much, though. Like, listen, I just got through watching the series. Not many times the Celtics just let him toss up a three just to see him miss it. He hit like 2 in one game. He's like, oh, he's on fire.
I get it. But again, we're also in the mindset of today's NBA is you have to automatically knock down the three no matter what your size is.
Right?
That's
he wasn't scoring anywhere else, though.
And again, that's this problem. And now Draymond would just be like, you know what? I know I'm not a consistent three-point shooter, but I'm going to step in and hit a top of the key too. Now, if he hits 3 of those in a row, when he steps in, the defense has to react. So now Clay can hit a backdoor cut. Their big is open. And Draymond's a guy that he can get those no-look passes, where a lot of guys can't do that. PJ can't do that. Mm-mm. That's what I'm saying. The stuff that it's more so Draymond makes mental mistakes, but if he took that same thing that makes him great and just made it a little smaller where he's knocking down 2s and some 3s, not 3s and some 2s, the effect that he has, you can't quantify that.
Yeah, but
because
I'm
he
not
does
paying
the
him
same
max
thing
for that.
that the great big men do. They were just doing it at 7 foot and deeper in the paint.
Yeah, and averaging 20 and 12.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Like
he's not going to average 20 and 12.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he got the max deal because like, hey, Dre, thanks for this, thanks for that, thanks for all this and that. And it's like,
I'll still to this day say Draymond didn't deserve that money.
No, if anything,
he did not deserve that max money.
Give him a nice, good, big signing bonus, guaranteed. Boom, and give him.
They don't get signing bonuses in the NBA, right? You realize that?
I forget that shit, bro.
They don't get signing bonuses.
Yeah, I listen. When it comes to business, bro, I don't know. There's some hush hush money. I don't know.
There's some hush hush money, but again, but I'm saying officially on the cap.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You not because again, the NFL is shaped the way it is because you can do that, and it affects the cap differently. Like I can pay you $20 million, but your cap hit is $6 million.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you can still get broke off, and I'm like, no, I just put it only in signing bonus. You good? I give you all your money up front, but for the rest of the next 5 years, you only getting $2 million.
Yeah.
Okay, you just gave me $30 million. I don't give a damn if I'm making $2 million in 5 years.
You
can't do that in the NBA.
It's fucking different.
Yeah, actually, so
I bet. So let's go back to the
last question on the Celtics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think the Celtics have any concern about Jason Tatum's fandom of wanting to be a Laker, following Kobe, taking pictures at the logo?
No.
And then Jaylen Brown saying, he didn't necessarily say, but with some rumors leaked saying halfway through the season, if it doesn't work out, he's going to look for a trade. Obviously,
that I believe. I can believe that more than I can believe.
Do the Celtics have any issues internally thinking they can hold these two guys together?
They need leadership in the locker room. I think the biggest concern is not necessarily what those guys are saying. It's the fact that you guys don't have a center, not position, but like a center of your team. Where when stuff like this happens,
we have one. It's just the wrong guy. That's smart. That's the problem.
Again,
that's the problem.
What I mean, then you don't have it. If it's the wrong guy, you still don't have it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because there's a situation. Remember when Blake Griffin was about to leave the Clippers, right? When he was all ready to sign. Chris Paul got on a plane, called DeAndre, and said, "Nah, no, pause." It was DeAndre when DeAndre was about to sign in Dallas, and he already agreed to sign in Dallas. He went, scooped up Blake. Him and Blake has had problems since they got there. He said, nah, fuck all that. Scooped up Blake. They flew to Dallas that night and locked him in the thing and made him sign that extension.
Yeah.
That is the type of... He said, no, you're not leaving because we need you to win this ring.
Did all that not to win the chip. But listen, I respect
But I'm saying that type of...
That's what you need.
But again,
yeah, I respect it.
Listen, won a ring,
no, I know.
But at the same time, he's still that leader that's like, no, I need my soldiers with me.
Yeah, nah.
I need my soldiers with me.
We definitely don't have that.
There's nobody like that, and that's the problem again with this generation. It's like you get because again, look at it. You get a guy like Giannis, but Giannis is like, I don't even want to be in what's it called, Space Jam. I don't want to do none of that because until I win a ring, I'm nothing, and until we win a ring, I don't want to hear none of y'all niggas say nothing. Milwaukee was silent. Once they made that run was when you started hearing people start chirping out of Milwaukee. And then when he had the MVP, he was like, this is cool, but tomorrow don't call me an MVP because I'm not an MVP because I got to do it again. Then he did it again. Now you see Giannis doing shit on Disney Plus. Now you see Giannis doing all this other stuff because he's like, nah, until we prove it, I don't want to hear nothing. Yep. And that's the kind of leader the Celtics need. They need a KG. They need a KG. And until they get an anchor, you gonna let the inmates run the asylum. Because Brad Stevens ain't gonna be the nigga to walk into a room and be like, nah, we need you.
And I think that's why I think, and this is one thing, I think that was all shady, weird shit like that happened there. Danny Ainge walks away and Brad Stevens goes right up. Yeah. Like that's some shady shit. I don't know what might have happened there, but that was some shady shit. That doesn't make sense.
It was business by respect. Like they didn't want to put out there that they were firing Danny Ainge. And the Boston media ate this up for a while, so it's like kind of a step down. They owed Brad Stevens a ton of money as a coach. He was underneath contract. I forget how much he's getting paid a year. So the easiest thing to do was actually just to move him up to GM. Like all this got discussed a lot here in Boston, and it just made sense to keep everything in house at that point. But
I
instead
don't
of
know,
coming out
man.
and saying firing Danny Ainge, it was just it. Listen, it was a mess that got sorted out.
You can say that, but what's to say Brad Stevens in the backroom conversation was like, "Yo, you got
Push
fired
him
Danny
out.
Ainge and give me that, or I'm out."
Supposedly Danny Ainge called him and offered him the job. Like it was. Listen, it was weird. It was one thing for sure.
I'm just saying it's weird. Unless we get all the facts.
Yeah.
To me, it's just weird.
It's weird.
This
I agree.
speculations everywhere. What the Celtics need to do, besides figure out turnovers, they need to find that leader. Is it Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown? I don't know. They need to find somebody that could be that center. You know, and I get Jason wants to compare himself to Kobe, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your dog. That's your man. Cool. But also remember, Kobe was a freaking leader. Like I always remember and laugh when freaking he was on was that Jimmy Kimmel show, and they were asking him how he felt on the reaction when like the Lakers are literally like freaking celebrating a win after a losing streak, and they were celebrating like if they won the NBA Finals or some shit, and he was like literally stone cold, like he didn't react. Like no, that won't happen with me there. And again,
I'll up you one. Remember when the rumor was that Kobe was done with the Lakers and he was going to go to the Bulls to go after his hero, and then something clicked and Kobe was like, "Nah. As much as that would be cool, I got to make my own way." And that's the part of Kobe that motherfuckers keep missing. Like everybody wants to say they got Mamba mentality. The only motherfucker that I can say got Mamba mentality is Damian Lillard and Giannis. The rest of these niggas still got to prove it.
And
Jason Tatum still has to prove it.
Right,
you want to be like Kobe, then don't
Steph?
leave.
What about Steph though?
And Steph.
Let me go and say this though, right?
No, I think Steph, because to me Steph is a fucking given. Like, what else does this man need to do?
I know.
At this point, like Jesus Christ, what is this man?
I don't mind Tatum's infatuation with Kobe. I don't. It irritates me a little bit. But
because you also was a Celtic. But again, how many people emulate Chris Paul? Paul Pierce.
It's not
Paul
that.
Pierce turned into a fucking asshole. So like, don't nobody want to be that man.
I think sometimes Tatum take these shots that are not great shots because he's trying to be Kobe. Kobe obviously did. He followed after Michael Jordan. I'm sure we all seen like them reels where it's like them back to back. Tatum trying to follow those stadium steps. I don't think he's that type of guy. At least not right now.
But again,
and that's why we lose some games.
I'll put it to you this way. How long did it take Jordan to win a ring?
I don't know, 8-9 years.
7.
Yep.
How long did it take Kobe to win a ring?
6-7.
You need to take those bad shots because when it's time, you're gonna make those bad shots. So that's the thing. I'd rather see Tatum do it now, where Tatum's 24 years old and still trying to figure himself out. The problem is again, we've gotten into the mindset with the NBA where everything has to be microwaved. Everything has to be quick. Everybody wants to compare themselves to greats, but greats took time. Steph took time to be great. Steph wasn't great. Steph ain't played his first 2 years. Motherfuckers forget that. Steph couldn't stay on the court because his ankles was shot. He had to change his sneakers midway through. Like, we need to stop with this bullshit glamorization of all of these stars of years past and keep saying like, oh, this guy has to be this. The guys that are winning, the guys that have won, took years to get there. The next great dynasty isn't going to happen until somebody dethrones Steph. That is going to take time. This whole idea of the NBA needs to microwave its next stars, and if they don't do it before they're 25, they're a bust.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous. You guys literally waited from Larry Bird to an old Paul Pierce for another ring. You guys can wait another 2 years for Jason Tatum to figure it out. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. See, this is the problem with y'all spoiled little New England bastards.
Yo, listen. Listen, man. You don't get it, though. You don't get it. You get to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times.
I get the
you lose.
hunger. If there's nobody else that gets a hunger for a championship like I do, there's none of you motherfuckers that can say you get a championship like I do. Don't hit me with that. I don't get it. Motherfucker, I get it.
Listen,
I
just haven't
understand. But I'm also old enough to realize that I've seen my team do everything wrong. So this is literally the old man telling you with all the bruises and all the scars before you go out into that battlefield, motherfucker, wait.
Listen,
be patient. Because
you're
going to go out there and you're going to get shot and then you're going to be like, oh, what happened? Why are we not winning? We're the Celtics. Why are we not winning? Because you guys had everything you needed, but I had no patience. Think about it this way. Don't be the playboy that's going to come home to microwave meals every day because you're trying to get a quick fix. Go find you a shorty, go build that relationship, and let her cook you home-cooked meals. And shut the fuck up and be patient. That's simple.
Yo, so I am dying to get to the damn Brooklyn Nets.
We'll save that for them. We'll save that for them.
Nah, I want this right now. You want to save it for the end?
All right, about them.
Cool. All right. Let's go to the 76 or the Raptors. All right, cool. That's good enough. All right, so my take on the Raptors is they're now back to the Raptors, right? And they got a bunch of players who are like nice to have players. I don't think they have any true alphas. I don't know what the direction is anymore. They feel like another team. They just feel like a team is going to consistently have to take risks to bring in those guys. Because ultimately, I don't think players are clamoring to play outside the country and go play in Canada. So for the Raptors, man, it's always going to be a tough uphill battle for them. Obviously, like you said earlier, Quan, that at least Canada is now starting to produce a lot of top-level talent. Maybe some of those guys will go back home, but that one Kawhi year was great. I just don't know where they go, especially with the Atlantic Division looking this way. It's just they're just going to feel like we'll be back in the road again.
You have this obsession with comparison. You have this obsession with comparison. Yeah. That's cool, but you also, again, you're looking at the mirror through a telescope when you need to step back. The Raptors are doing everything that they need to do right now. The only thing they have to figure out what they need to do is what is Siakam to them? What is Siakam? That is the only question they need to answer.
Okay, that can answer
they
that.
have their superstar.
He's a threat.
Scotty Barnes is going to be that guy. Scotty Barnes is that dude. Scotty Barnes is that dude. He's proven it. He's going to be the next great two-way player. You just gotta listen. You put your seasoning on him. You done lathered him up. You just gotta put him in the refrigerator. Let that boy marinate.
Build around him.
Let that boy marinate.
I think he's good.
Take your picks. Build around him. Figure out what Fred VanVleet means to you, and figure out what Siakam means to you. Because those two guys are very valuable to other people in the NBA. They are more valuable to the NBA than they are to the Toronto Raptors right now. So if you can parlay those guys into tangible assets, then you're in a much better spot than most teams think you are.
And smart ones too.
Yeah, but what are those guys to you? What are those guys to you? I think that is the only question I need to answer.
You have to keep those guys. Because here's the thing, the same way Kawhi left, you can trade those guys, but once that person's contract is up, typically players get traded within their last year on their deal or 2 years on the deal. Mm-hmm. But once that player is up, he's not staying in players do not want to be.
That's why I said, what do they mean to you?
I think
because again, if they keep you competitive for the life of the contract, cool, great, fantastic. Let them build their value while you accumulate assets. Let them build their value. I'm not saying trade them right now. I'm not saying right now trade them. I'm not saying I'm saying figure out what their value is to you versus what their value is to the league. If they're more important to you right now, keep them. If they're more important on the market, however, and you can get worse to get better while Scotty Barnes marinates, much the way they did with DeMar DeRozan, because if you realize that championship came because they let DeMar DeRozan grow, and then his value exceeded what he could do for his value to the NBA exceeded what he could do for the Raptors at the time. So they parlayed him into a guy that could take them over the hump, and they won a championship.
Yeah, I think
now, you can't sit up here. You can't talk out of two sides of your mouth, Eric. Because you can't tell me that the Knicks need to make a move right now because they're in a place right now that they need to make a move. But then tell me that the Raptors need to hold on to guys.
Well, I can, but listen, I can though because it's two different things. The NBA needs the New York Knicks, and they have for a long time. That's a market that
stop rigging the damn lottery.
I'm not going to fight that battle. I'm not going to fight that battle. But the Knicks.
When was the last time we had a first overall pick? And how many times were we the worst
I'm
team in the
not.
league?
I'm not
I
fighting
rest my
that.
case.
I'm not fighting
Stop
that.
rigging the damn lottery.
Listen, I'll gladly walk away from that fight. But the New York Knicks are needed in the NBA. Toronto.
We don't need to be a top team, no. We just need to make the playoffs.
No. I mean, I think the New York wants New York back. Like, I mean, I think
you're right.
Listen,
we want New York back. The league don't need us to be that bad, though.
What I'm saying,
don't need us to be a top team. The league needs us to be good enough that we are watchable, so that the revenue can come in. We have to be passable. We get put it like this: we're the rich white kids. Y'all the nigga folk. Y'all gotta try hard to be good. We don't have to. We gotta get C's. And everybody's happy when we get C's.
But do you understand
when we eat?
Do you understand what I'm saying about versus the Raptors and the Knicks, though? That's why I said that. The two separate things is that the Knicks can play the slow ball because there's no expectation. I'm sorry. I mean, the Raptors can play slow ball. There's no expectation for the Raptors. They won a championship. That was a surprise. You can suck for the next decade, and we will remember you won a championship. Like, that's never going to go.
But the thing is,
though, every year it's like we're waiting for you to land Damian Lillard, Kemba Walker. Somebody.
Because again, you guys are looking for the marquee name to hit the marquee market.
Yes.
That is the difference. But again, you're waiting for something that doesn't make sense.
Why? Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing with Toronto.
Toronto, but we can continue
agreeing with Jay. They need to figure out Van Fleet, and Pascal. In my opinion, they need to trade Pascal right away, as soon as they can.
Agreed.
His value is up here.
Agreed.
Over Fleet. The reason being because you have Van Fleet as a point guard, and we already brought this up with Boston. Finding that position to run that ball is not that easy. So, and the thing is, if you keep Pascal for too long, his value is going to dip. And instead of getting a player and a pick for him, you're probably just going to get a second rounder for him. So right now, you could probably get a player. Maybe, depending on the team. So you get a first rounder. So you can get a player and a first rounder for him right now. But if you hold on for too long, especially with Scotty Barnes and them playing almost the same style, his value is going to dip. His number's going to dip soon because the way Scotty's playing, that ball's going. If it hasn't gone through him yet, it's going to go through him.
Because they can't play together. They play too similar. They can't play together.
Exactly. So they have to get rid of Pascal, and they need to get rid of him. I won't be surprised they get rid of him before the season starts.
I won't be surprised they get rid of him tomorrow.
I was going to say that. I'll be very surprised if they trade him tomorrow.
Who's giving up assets right now? I'm not saying Siakam's a bum, but how significant of assets are you going to give up for Siakam? Like, what would you give up realistically for Siakam?
Depends on the team.
The problem is that Portland already made their move. So that's the team that immediately screams like you need wings.
I would have said Jeremy Grant over Siakam. I think that was the right move. Yep.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that's a move. You look at some of the top teams. I mean, it really the problem is that everybody's assets are so tied up into these top guys that it's hard to really be like, yo, he could go here, he can go there. A team like Memphis would be interesting.
Okay.
Like I said, Memphis is interesting because they're at that point. They're at that precipice where you have your superstar, you have your secondary star. Now you need your tertiary star. Who makes sense? If you can't get Miles Bridges, because it looked like Miles Bridges is about to bounce, and Miles Bridges is about to get broke off. So if you can't get Miles, you might be able to move some assets to go get Pascal Siakam, and I think that that's a really nice fit for what they do. Because it gives them size. He can play the defense that he needs to play. And now his role is so minimized that whatever he gives you is a plus. Kind of what they did with Aaron Gordon and Denver.
So I want to take it away only because John Morant isn't the greatest shooter. So put Siakam and mix him in that mix out there. I just don't love the fit. I don't love the fit. But I can see why it would work. I just don't love the fit in terms of.
I mean, hell, if I'm New Orleans, I'm sniffing around.
Here's one that doesn't make sense because they're in the same division, but
Philly.
It kind of does. Yes.
Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't because they're in the same division, but if you just think about it overall between teams, it makes sense. Pascal goes to Philly, and Philly sends over Matisse.
They probably can package Matisse in like Tobias.
All right, I'm not doing that for Philly. Not at all. Listen, you play inside-out basketball in Philly. You play through Joel Embiid in the paint. The only way that offense works is to have shooters around him. If you put Siakam out there, you're only cluttering the paint, taking away the space from Joel Embiid. You need Tobias out there.
You need to
you do not need that trade.
But you forget though. You forget Embiid has a shot though.
He has a shot, but they still
both
play
of them.
No,
both
they
of them
still play
aren't.
inside out. He'll step out.
Look, I get what you mean. Both of them aren't knockdown shooters. Both of them aren't knockdown shooters. I'm not saying the fit is perfect, but what I'm saying is he gives you a little bit of what you lost defensively in Ben Simmons. Okay.
I don't think they're looking to listen. I don't think they're looking for him. I would keep Tobias out there, right? That's one of my skirts. I would keep him out there to stretch the floor. I'm not going to listen. When you play a big, like I wrote earlier, if you're playing inside out, it's crucial to have shooters.
I'm not disagreeing with you,
huh?
I'm not disagreeing.
What I'm saying is Tobias can shoot though. You keep him. I wouldn't make that switch. I wouldn't give it the offense for the defense. I'll just bring in the 3D guy. I'll go get PJ Tucker. I'll sign him. He's a free agent right now. Go get him. Huh?
He's not signing to Philly.
That's not the point.
I would hedge my bet.
I'm not going to pay Siakam $20+ million to make
but again, the biggest problem is his contract. That I'll give you. The biggest problem is his contract. Mm-hmm. But from a fit standpoint, it's not like Siakam can't knock down shots. But it's also a situation where now you're going to have two guys that can attack the middle, right? You can have it where Joel can attack the middle. Siakam can hit that mid-range shot, and they can play going back and forth, and both guys can knock down a three if open. Mm-hmm. And you have another big guy where now you don't have to tax Joel on the defensive end. Because Siakam is constant energy. Siakam's going to make his bones off his energy. You don't really have to create for him. He's going to create just off of his energy.
And what I'm saying is you can get that guy at $10 million. There's guys out there like that. You can find that guy on the market.
I'm saying if I wasn't thinking about money.
Yeah, I got you. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
We're not talking about money. We're talking
money, then yes, it makes it a lot more complicated because you have to figure out who's going to take it.
Yeah, I'm saying I wouldn't give a bias for Siakam anyway. Straight up, I would say no. Especially on this particular team, I would say no. Joel Embiid had a great year this year. That was due to spacing them, utilizing him. I would not clutter the paint, make matters worse for him. I would not do that. I keep things as it is. We know Tobias and Joel Embiid works. I'm not making that trade over Philly.
Fair.
We know it works.
Yeah, like I said, it's a strange one. It's a weird one because it's the division, but it kind of works. So the Raptors.
You got Washington. Washington might be able to use Siakam.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah,
but the thing is,
Washington makes sense to me.
Yeah. But the thing is, if they trade Beal, they're literally like in a restructure, in a rebuild.
But again, if you're gonna restructure, why not restructure around the guy who's still relatively young and can give you at least keep you semi-competitive?
It depends on what you have to give up to get them, though. If you're trying to restructure, are you giving them first round picks that you need to rebuild?
But again, that's what I'm saying. It also everything with Siakam is contingent on price. And if I'm Toronto, it's like, okay, how can I maximize my asset in Siakam? There's not again, as much as he could help teams, his value isn't high because of the money that you're paying him. So you're going to also have to compromise a bit. Where, again, if I'm trading him to a team like Washington, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of can I get players that can help me versus can I get picks that can help me?
Yep.
Because if I'm looking at Washington and I'm saying, hey, if I can get X, Y, and Z, that's the equivalent to me. Okay, I can get a first-round impact from these three different guys, and they fit with Scotty Barnes a lot better, and I can build around these guys, and I won't have to pay them the same way I'd have to pay a first-round pick later. So if you look at it from a long-term perspective, then yes, Siakam going to Washington makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you get X, Y, and Z, you get 3 role players, you're still in the middle of the pack. I think the Raptors, once again, is just hair right back in the middle of the pack. I think this is where they're going to be for a while.
But again, it's like Jay was saying, it's the role players. Because the thing is, you can build a role player, you can build Scotty, you still have to build him up. And then you have Fleet, that if he builds himself up against some more, you have another way of getting more assets. Maybe draft picks alone. maybe a player. Maybe you can get
And then
whatever you're
when the
missing.
time is right for Toronto, when that team is primed to take the
make
next
that
step,
trade.
now you have the assets to make the big trade because you're not going to get a free agent. You know,
So
you're not going to get a free agent.
Yeah.
So
But
you
I'm
have to make sure you accumulate assets, even if it is second round picks, because people now undervalue second round picks. Second round picks are very important, especially in a 2-round draft. Second round picks are very important. So if you can accumulate a bunch of second round picks and a bunch of role players that now become your linchpins for your championship run, and you can use those second round picks to move to a first round pick, and then I can say, hey, I have this first round pick and Fred VanVleet, let me go out and get this guy.
all right. So going back, I'm this guy, right? I'm this guy that we're referring to. I'm Anthony Davis. A few years ago, my agent's leaking out that I wanted to be traded. I got a shortlisted team. The Toronto Raptors are on it. I got 2 years left on my contract. The Raptors make a trade for me. Do you think he extends past those 2 years?
Do we win in those?
Does he want to stay in Canada past those 2
Do we win in those
player in the NBA right now that they give up all those assets for?
Years?
Do they?
Does he win in those 2 years? And do I still have Scotty Barnes?
No, listen. Answer yes. He wins in that Kawhi. He won in the last 2 years. Did Kawhi stay?
Mm-hmm.
Did Kawhi stay?
But again, did I have Scotty Barnes?
Did Kawhi have Siakam, VanVleet, Kyle Lowry?
Okay, but those guys aren't Scotty Barnes. Those guys aren't Scotty Barnes.
I guess what I'm trying to get to is, do guys want to be in Canada? Do NBA?
That's
the
always going to. Again,
the problem
we
is
Toronto. We still say that about Milwaukee. Nobody, no big stars.
Milwaukee's in the United States, though. Like
Milwaukee's different.
You might as well go to Canada because guys don't want to go to Minnesota either.
Yeah, but the thing with Toronto, being Canada, you have the taxes is ridiculous. The taxes, high tax in Toronto as it is, and you have the other one.
I'm not. Toronto's always going to be in the situation where they're never going unless they grow a star. And the way they did DeMar DeRozan, they're never going to be a team that's going to be like, hey, I'm going to I'm going to get traded there against my will, and I'm going to stay. They're never going to be that team.
It's like saying, why am I going to resign in Toronto?
Indiana. I'm not getting traded to the Pacers and extending.
Yeah, but it's like saying like this. It's like saying this. It's like saying, why am I going to resign? Why am I going to sign New York or Toronto or California, pay those high taxes when I can go to Florida? No state tax, get more money in my damn pocket. Or Texas, yeah. Like, and depending on the player, they're not gonna care because they may want the money, especially if they want a ring already. You know.
You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Toronto's a place where if I can keep growing internal talent and I can make a big move every couple of years to get back in that championship race and maybe get a ring or two out of it. At the end of the day, I still got 3 rings. I don't give a fuck if they stay.
If it all works out every trade, right? That'd be magic.
That's what I'm saying. But again, there's a large majority of teams that don't have rings.
That's what people forget. The sales tax and state tax, all that stuff, it comes into effect because you're like, oh, he signed for a 4-year, $100 million. Yeah, but if you look at the taxes, he's not getting that 20-25.
He's getting $40 million at best. He's getting $40 million on a good day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to take that L regardless when it comes to Toronto. Toronto understands the situation that they're in. So you can't – that's why I said you can't play the comparison game with where am I in the rest of the division. You can't do all of that. You have to understand where you are as a team, where you are as a franchise, and where you are in your development. So that when you make the moves that you do, you open up your window for a certain amount of time. And if it don't work in that time, all right, we got to go back to doing it the way we did it before and do it. Mm-hmm. You have to do that. And that's why a large majority of teams, like that's why most of the teams that have won have been the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Celtics. And now Golden State. You know what I'm saying? There's only a handful of teams that have ever won championships.
Mark my words. I'm gonna say this right now. Scotty resigns his deal after the rookie one is done. But after that, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah,
it's that tax is gonna be. It's like no, I've lived here for so long. Same like Vince Carter. Vince Carter got paid and then he got traded. Part of it was because he just didn't want to be in Toronto because the taxes were high, and it happens. You can't sign anywhere after your first contract. So as I'm saying, on this after the sign,
like you're not getting out of that first one.
Yeah,
you're not.
So after that first,
the owners have too much of a linchpin on retaining those guys for small markets that you're gonna play your ass off. Hopefully you can get the Derrick Rose, bird rights where you can make $200 something million off that first extension, because once you hit to that second extension, then you get to go play where you want to play. Then you're 7 years in, you're established, you already got your money, essentially. You're trying to get that next big contract. Guys who play in Toronto, think about it. Look how much money DeMar DeRozan has made since he left Toronto. He went to Texas, and now he's in Chicago.
Yep.
He recouped a lot of money in Texas, I guarantee you that, from his net worth. And now he's in Chicago, and he's probably going to end up going one more place, and then he's done. But there's probably going to be a place where he doesn't have to pay a lot of taxes, or he's going to go home.
Yep.
All right. That's
good spot to leave off on the Raptors. So I guess we're at the Sixers here.
Go get shooters.
Tough, man.
Let's go get shooters.
They have a good roster. Like the Sixers have a good roster. They got young players. I like Maxey. I mean, you have Embiid, you have Tobias Harris. God, I mean, they have who's the I'm blanking on the center right now, but either way, they have like a damn good roster, and they're always competitive. No, I'm thinking of power forward. I'm tripping. I'm thinking of power forward. Either way, they have a good roster. I was like blanking, but nah, they have a good roster though. And I don't know. It feels to me like any year they can be in the championship,
and that's what you want to be. You just got to. At this point with them, it's just about you got to weather the storm. You season your guys. You have your team. You got your squad. You just got to keep adding to it. You got to keep whoever shape. Like if Miami somehow, some way lets one of those shooters go, and you can get them on the cheap, take them. If you can make a big move to get another guy that can go out there and get you a bucket, take him. You can get a three, like a guy like PJ Tucker, take him. Because at this point, you're gonna live and die by James Harden. Unfortunately, as much as Joel's your guy, you're gonna live and die by James Harden.
Forgot about him. Yeah, you got that guy too.
And he's just signed into a short contract. It's a short contract
because
so
they know
like it's a long one.
You're gonna live and die with James Harden. And at the end of the day, that may be fantastic because Houston lived and died, and they had a nice little run there. But again, you're gonna live and die with James Harden. And I mean, if they cool with that, then they cool with it. At this point, you have to do it. I hate to keep bringing back football, but it's what they tell you in football. When you have a quarterback on his first contract, you have to limit the what ifs. You have to limit the variables. If you can limit the variables with James Harden, we're like, okay, I know he's gonna be high turnover. I know he's gonna always try to go get a bucket. I know he's gonna over facilitate sometimes. He's gonna over dribble. If I know all of this, I'm not gonna go out and get a guy that needs to get in rhythm. I'm gonna go out and get a guy that's ready, made, catch, shoot, finish. That's his own skill. I know that James Harden is gonna play matador defense sometimes, so I'm gonna get a bunch of guys that don't mind playing defense, don't mind doing the dirty work. I know for a fact James Harden is gonna do a lot of crazy stuff and then may randomly kick out to you with 3 seconds left. So I'm gonna get a guy that has a fast release. I'm gonna minimize my variables with the pieces that I have. So you go out there, you get guys with a quick release that can play off ball and don't mind playing defense. That's it. That's all you got to do. And you live and die by James, because if James has a 12-point game, you're probably going to die. But if James goes off for 50, shit, you might get a championship out of this. And again, I hate to minimize Joel, but Joel is your one consistent factor.
Yeah.
And the problem with Joel for years is that he's had to be the guy. And it's like, yeah, he's your Chris Bosh. Because think about it. If you look at Miami, LeBron and D-Wade were the number one guys in terms of what we showed everybody. But if you watch the games, the number one guy getting the ball all the damn time was Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh had on average he averaged like 26 to 30 damn near every year. And then he averaged around 20 to 22 in the playoffs. That's what you need from Joel. But at the end of the day, if Flash wasn't being Flash, Miami wasn't doing shit. If LeBron wasn't being LeBron, Miami wasn't doing shit. Chris Bosh could do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, but he wasn't winning regardless. That's where you're at with Joel.
All right, so let me ask you. Are the Sixers right now actually built? So I believe they can get to an NBA Finals. If all breaks right for them, I believe they can get there. But are they built to win, right? And what I mean by that, huh?
Who they playing?
Let's say Golden State. Let's say they meet Golden State there, right?
Nope.
Can you win with your best man? I mean, your best player being your big man today. Like your true one is your big man playing.
He's not their true one. That's the biggest thing. He's not their true one.
So
He's your regular season one. He's your regular season one. But like I said, you gonna live or you gonna die from James. That's what it is. Because again, what the Sixers did was before they had to live and die by Ben. Notice, no matter what Joel did, they had to live and die by Ben. They died a lot because of Ben. Them motherfuckers got shot in the face because of Ben. A 40 Ks to the throat because of Ben.
Yeah.
Now you got James. You know, you may get hit with an AK-47. You may drop a nuke on a bitch. You don't know. We gonna find out just like everybody else. We gonna if James feeling good that day, then we might just fuck around and, you know, have the best team in the league. If James feeling a little sluggish, he feeling lazy, his knee hurt, his ankle hurt, you know, somebody blew on him wrong, somebody breath stink, you know, he might be playing with some herpes because he's in a strip club too much. Y'all might fuck around and get eliminated.
He's at Geno's.
You might fuck around and get eliminated. Like that the 76ers to me are that simple. You keep adding to minimize how much he affects that needle, but you're not gonna come like James Harden is the needle mover regardless. James Harden is 1A. I don't give a fuck what the scoreboard says. I don't give a fuck what the system say. At the end of the day, who's taking the last shot? It ain't Joel. Who you giving the rock? Who you giving the rock to with 5 seconds? You down 2. You ain't giving this shit to Joel.
I'm trying to.
That's you gonna try to kick it in, and James Harden now.
If you're telling me if I had to have James Harden or Joel Embiid shoot the ball, who I'm trying to get the ball to,
okay,
yeah,
you're down 2 though.
Oh, do I need a 3? Okay, I mean I seen Joel.
You know what I'm saying?
3.
You're down 2. In most cases, most games in the NBA are decided by 5 points.
Yeah, I don't trust James Harden. Yeah.
Again, most games in the NBA are you're gonna live and die by 5 points. The reason why the Nuggets will never get anywhere with Nurkic is because can he make up 5 points? No, he's not. Because it takes too damn long for him to set up. He's got to get into the paint. Then he's got to get into position. Then he's got to do the dribble. By that point, the clock done ran out, bro. Versus James, where James is going to take – he may take 12 dribbles, but them 12 dribbles is going to be in like 0.7 seconds, and he still got a second and a half to shoot that damn ball.
Yeah, step back and miss.
16 times, but that shit going to be fast as fuck, and he going to get it off. Now, whether it goes in or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's the difference between going to the NBA Finals and not. You get what I'm saying?
So I went back earlier today and went to go check. The last team that had a true big man that really paid the paint or inside the 3-point line majority of the time that won the championship. You want to guess what team that was?
Was it the Houston Rockets with Olajuwon?
Nah, it was more recent than that. More recent
Spurs
than
with
that.
Tim?
Yeah, Spurs. It was Tim Duncan. Unless you would make the argument that Kevin Garnett was the Celtics' best player in 2008, but he was more of a stretch 4.
But again,
you know,
I can rebut that in the same way of they don't win those championships without Manu and Tony Parker taking the shots they did in the last 5 seconds. Timmy wasn't taking the last shot.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Danny Green made those shots.
The idea of
Horry made that shot.
Is the inside-out approach right now. The teams that have been winning, you had teams that's built around LeBron where you got him just driving to the hole and 4 shooters on the outside, right? You got Steph where all of them guys are just maniacs, flying off screens, shooting picks, setting screens from one another, just throwing up threes. Just playing that traditional style, high pick and roll, Joel Embiid, flash to the basket, post, step out to the 3 occasionally. Is that going to win you an NBA Finals game? Are the Sixers at this point set up wrong? Is what I'm asking for.
It could win you the finals, but you need the right shooters. They have to be consistent. You can't have a Joe Harris. They messed up when they gave up Seth Curry.
Yep.
This is one thing I said. When they gave up Seth Curry, that I was like happy as hell. I was like, Sixers like y'all messed up. Because y'all don't realize, that's the thing. People don't realize how good and effective Seth Curry is. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got the name like his brother. His name ain't lights, but that dude's effective. If we had
statistically, he's a better shooter than his brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe because his brother shoot more,
He
but yeah.
is. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but again, statistically, he's probably going to go down as the greatest shooter of all time. Statistically.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. His brother is lights, but if you look at the stats, look at everything, he's better than his brother.
He's a better shooter, yes.
If we had him in the playoffs fully healthy, I think it would. I don't know if it still would have been a sweep. You know what I'm saying? Because he was out there, and this is why I say like we'll get back to it when we go to talk to the Nets. But if the Sixers can surround themselves with some better shooters, they can make it to the finals. As long as they also play defense as well, because that's an issue you tend to get to. That would be
my answer to it.
You literally you can get your shooter, but when you get your perimeter shooter, you literally, depending on what it is, you lose a defense.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to careful to balance that out.
Because
but
again,
I think they can.
You're asking me.
There's that if.
Can a team win with a big man? I can ask you. Who's that big man? Because again, with Joel, can Joel guard the perimeter? Because at the end of the day, most teams don't lose because they can't score. They lose because they can't stop the other team from scoring. Yeah. The reason why Golden State's so successful is you can't stop them from scoring if they decide to score. You can't stop them.
Million picks.
Okay, so again, here's the question.
And I wanted to go back to that Steph Curry thing because I saw your face. And here's why I say Seth is a better shooter. Seth is a better shooter, but Steph Curry is the best shooter off the dribble we have ever seen.
But that's my point. Exactly. Stop there. The degree of difficulty that Steph makes is a better shooter than Seth simply because teams are game planning around stopping Steph all game. That's not what they're doing to Seth. So the shots that Steph has to hit. If Steph didn't play the way he played in these finals, Golden State wasn't going to win, right? Clay had a very first bad 3 games. When Steph came here, was it game 3 or whatever game it was, and he started yelling at the crowd and talking shit, and I was like, that man won it and he dropped 40 on us? Oh, that wasn't an easy 40. That man was throwing up some fucking Hail Marys.
Again, you're arguing for better player, not better shooter.
All right, if I'm arguing for better. I'm arguing for better shooter too.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're forgetting
the real difficult shots because he has to. That's not what Seth has to do.
Better player. If I'm just lining these niggas up and I'm like, go shoot.
Shots is Seth. Sagging off Joe and B, and he's somewhere in the corner. Steph.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
he's a better shooter. If I'm talking purely the skill of shooting. I'm just talking about the skill. I'm not talking about the degree. I'm just talking about the skill. Seth is a better shooter. That's not saying anything bad about Steph. That's saying Seth is that good of a shooter. He's that much of a threat. If we're talking about degree of difficulty, there is nobody close. And the closest person is Ray Allen in Seattle and Milwaukee. I'm not even talking about Boston, right? I'm talking about cold-ass Ray that was dunking on niggas left, right, and center.
Jesus, shut up.
I'm talking about that motherfucker. Most young niggas don't know about that nigga. That was my favorite player.
Going back, the last big man to truly win a title was Giannis.
All right, listen.
Y'all doing too much.
No, he's right. Like I don't want to take away from him, but Giannis doesn't play like a traditional big. That's what I mean, like a traditional like post play. Giannis is flashing.
If we're talking like a true life big, I would say.
But the thing is, if you look at Giannis, Giannis is usually mostly inside. He always goes inside.
That's just charging at people, playing fullback. Like he does the Euro, like he's
Russell Westbrook, but big. You didn't see Shaq doing that.
He's not a true big.
Yeah, but I mean, come on now. Shaq is like 7'1". And like 350 pounds, bro. He does that shit. Shaq. He does that.
Okay, but no. The Shaq that did that was like 265 and chiseled as fuck.
In Orlando?
That was Orlando Shaq that was playing like Giannis. Lakers Shaq wasn't playing like Giannis. No. Not at all. And that's the nigga that didn't win the ring.
Yeah. All right, let's move back. All right.
Now, can we get to the damn Nets? This is what I've been waiting for. This is when all the ludicrous is going to come out. Quan, you ready, bro? You ready, bro?
This is the show.
Listen.
I'm gonna sit back and drink and eat my popcorn because I ain't got nothing to say about y'all niggas.
Listen,
Y'all already know. I don't got nothing to say about the Nets strictly because of the fact of like
everything to say.
I've said everything. I said everything I need to say about the Nets.
Everything to say. Where you at, Paul? Bring your ass here, boy.
I'm right here. I'm just laying down.
Come here. Nah,
because I know I'm gonna hear it. Go ahead.
You gotta talk about this, right?
Go ahead. I'll let you talk before
Brooklyn Nets.
Unlike what you do is like you just hear the first second of a message and you reply. So I'll let you talk.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie, get James Harden. Obviously, he goes get Ben Simmons. A lot of expectations. Get swept in the first round by the Boston Celtics.
Oh, we still with that? Okay.
Oh no, this is what we leading off with because we got to talk about the off-season plans. You know, the biggest changes needed. And I look at these Nets.
He wants to talk about the sweep still. Damn. Okay.
Oh, we got to bring up the season. We're going to talk about these Nets.
Okay.
And we look at them, and you look at them. You say to yourself, like, man, either something's really wrong here, or there's some real big overachievers. You got Kyrie Irving. Let's talk about this, Boston. Let's talk about Kyrie. Guy who won the championship, needed LeBron. KD only won championships because he was the Warriors, right? Had to jump on that bandwagon. They get together and they just can't get there, right? So when I look at the Nets, the way I feel about these Nets, I don't think they're going to get it done. I personally don't think they're going to get it done. I think Ben Simmons is going to come in and help. I like to see the changes that they make. They have all the talent in the world. They're definitely the most scariest team in the East. I would 100% agree to that. I think the coach is broke. I don't trust Kyrie Irving. And from that point forward, I would love to see what this offseason looks like. I do think Kyrie's going to end up going back. But until you guys get a new coach, I don't see anything changing. I don't know. I can barely see it. Still sad about Kyrie. Yo, so the way I feel about these Nets, the way I feel about these Nets, bro, is we're going to be having the same conversation next year. Another Kyrie issue. And we'll see. We'll wait 1 year to see. We'll talk about it. But I think the Nets, I think they have potential to go to the finals. Obviously, they have the potential to win the championship. I think the coach is a problem. I don't know what more to say. I just feel like they just underachieved. Quan, let me know your thoughts, bro. We'll get the Paul. We'll save him for last. He's going to hear the bullshit. That's when we walk away.
I don't get fined.
Huh?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. Tell me, man, how do you feel? What do you expect the Knicks to be next season? How far do you think they can get?
If everything shakes right, they should be NBA champions. Straight up.
And how do you feel about that actually happening? If you had to put your money on it today.
Nothing ever shakes right in the NBA. Nothing ever shakes right in the NBA.
Is Ben Simmons playing game 1 next year? Is he on the floor?
Yes. Ben Simmons is on the floor.
Okay.
The issue that the only thing I can say is is Kyrie going to be there full time, and what is his role? Because if you have Ben Simmons, because again, the thing with Steph Curry is as much as we talk about him, he is a score first guard who can play make. Correct?
Who's this?
Steph Curry is a shoot first guard that can play make.
Okay.
At his core. Correct? Kyrie Irving has been proven to be most effective when he is a shoot first guard that can play make. Correct?
Yep. Comes off screens. Yep. I seen it.
That's when they won the championship.
Yep.
Like that. That's when they won the chip, right? When he was next to someone who was more of a facilitating playmaker, and he was just like, they just said let Kyrie cook, right? Can we all agree to that?
Yeah. No.
So if you now have a playmaker who, for all intents and purposes, has been compared to the last person that Kyrie won a championship next to, there's no reason why Kyrie can't slide back into what he's comfortable in and be that 30-point killer and not have to worry about passing the ball. And Kevin Durant can go back to being that 50-point killer without having to pass the ball. And Ben Simmons can be that facilitator. again, if everything shakes out right.
In fairness to Kai, he's definitely played off the ball. LeBron brought the ball up a lot in Cleveland. He played off him. So it should be fine. It should work.
It should be fine.
It should work.
The biggest question for the Nets is which Nets are we going to get? Are we going to get Arkham Asylum? Or are we going to get a professional basketball team? Because Ben Simmons' head is fucked up. Kyrie's head isn't in the game. Kevin Durant just looks pissed off 90% of the time and is attacking people on Twitter. And I can't even name you the rest of the motherfuckers on the team. So what is if Ben Simmons comes back and he plays and he's ready to go, what is everybody else's role? And are they going to play that role? And is that role sustainable? I just have questions because again, nobody can beat the Nets but the Nets. The Nets literally have 2 of the top 5 players in the league right now. Okay. There's no reason why
that's not accurate.
They can't win. That's what?
Yeah, 1. That's not accurate. They got 1 of the top 5 players in the league.
This coming from a guy that calls
let's keep it a stat. What guard not named Steph Curry is better than Kyrie?
You said guard. You said top 5 player. I'm about to say I can name you. Giannis, Luka. Don't get me to do it. Don't get me to do it.
Hold on.
Don't get me to do it.
You said Luka is better than Kyrie Irving?
Is that crazy to you?
You are out of your motherfucker.
Yeah, wow. Wait. Where did Luka make it? Where did Luka get eliminated? What round did he make it to? By himself.
I'm not talking about Kyrie, the team player.
Luka is a better player than Kyrie.
You're on drugs. You need to be tested.
Listen, look at the MVP rankings. Look at the MVP rankings.
I don't give a
There's a lot of people that need to be tested. Listen.
I don't give a damn.
Usually,
when players start voting on the MVP, I'll start.
Usually, if everybody else is in line and the one person saying that everybody's crazy, usually mean they're crazy. Look at the MVP rankings.
Everybody else is following.
Listen.
This country
because we all think Luka is better than Kyrie.
Hey.
All right, that's a different conversation.
You speaking as you.
I'm speaking as the MVP rankings. I'm talking about the people.
MVP who? The media?
Huh?
Are we really going to sit up here and trust the media now?
Yes.
Are we going to sit up here and trust the media who employs Stephen A. Smith?
Listen. Come on. I trust everything the media writes.
Okay.
If it favors my bias. Either way.
Exactly. If it favors your bias, go ahead.
Yeah. If it goes against it, I don't agree.
Ask actual NBA players.
Yeah. Listen.
Ask the players. Who gonna bust your ass one-on-one?
You seriously think if a player was a free agent, they can play with Luka or Kyrie at this point right now? What you know about
Luka
Kyrie
is a better team player. I didn't ask you who a better team player was. I said who's the better player.
I'm saying what you know about Luka right now. A guy who can hit that clutch shot. A guy's listen. This is a whole different conversation. We're gonna get off that.
He's
right
not even
now.
in shape. He's like another.
We're gonna get off that right now. We're gonna get off.
Hit the clutch shot.
No,
really?
Come on. We're gonna get off. No, Paul. We're not having
last year's Luka because last year's Luka was not making that shit. That's the reason why they got their ass whooped.
Paul.
Hold up. Luka Doncic is not even in shape. He's like the European James Harden, bro.
It's a fact.
I don't even like the Nets.
We're not doing this to
Kyrie.
Bro. This is the thing.
I don't even like the Nets.
I like Luka Doncic. I like Luka. Okay.
My soul hurt right now.
Here's the thing.
Right now.
This is why we say. This is why we say you're so bitter with Kyrie leaving Boston still, bro. Like you're saying this crazy stuff, bro.
It's crazy that y'all find this to be so ludicrous that Luka is a better player than Kyrie. I don't know why that's insane to y'all.
Because he's not.
He's not.
No.
He's not,
bro.
He's not. He's not.
Listen.
No.
Listen. I can.
That's like you telling
Trae Young's bro. Than Kyrie. We're not going, bro. Kyrie's not top 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Quick question. Keep it a buck. Who has better handles, Kyrie or Luka?
Luka. I mean, sorry, Kyrie. Kyrie. I didn't mean to say that. I fixed myself. I almost walked off myself. Kyrie. Listen. Who's the better player? Is Luka? Is what I was trying to answer. That's all it matters.
No.
Yo, we're not going.
Okay.
Paul,
real quick.
We're not talking about Kai. You're not going to get me to talk more about Kai. Paul.
You're the one that brought this up. You're the one that do this to yourself. You did this to yourself.
You did it to yourself. I literally made a comment that says this team has 2 top 5 players right now.
Exactly.
No reason. And a guy who is arguably, when his head is on straight, a top 20 player at the minimum.
Kyrie's a top 15 player at best.
Wait, what?
Top 15 player at best.
This is why we say what we say.
Listen, I don't understand. Listen, I gotta find some NBA rankings or something. We're not having this conversation right now. Yo, Quan, bring your ass back here, bro. Right? I'm gonna wait for him to come back.
You crazy.
Listen, listen.
This is why we say what we say.
Facts, bro. Bro, don't make me send you
Yes,
a list.
yes. The facts are the facts. Your freaking bitterness for Kyrie leaving Boston
don't
clouds your
send
judgment.
you a list of 15 guys. Don't make me do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, when you break down this list, you have to include the ability to take a player one-on-one, to break them down, to get that shot either off the ball or down the lane.
Can we also have the ability to suck his whole career in Cleveland until LeBron came? Can we also have the ability not to play in the games and force your team to a number 7 for 8 spot because you're too proud to get the vaccine? Can we also have the ability not to help out the rain and get swept in the first round? Can we also y'all don't get me going. Yo, Quan, bring your ass back
like
here.
I
boy.
said, your hatred for this man is like ridiculous.
Yo,
I'm just being
fair. Luka made it to the Western Conference Finals by himself.
You're holding that too much, bro. You're holding that onto that for too much.
Paul, we here, right? Remember the last time we had one of these discussions, there's a certain somebody who won't be named who is no longer with Sportsmark analyst that called me crazy for saying that Domantas Sabonis was the top power forward. What did he do the next year? Average 20 and 15. Yeah. So this is the Domantas Sabonis thing all over again.
This is not even the same.
If Kyrie plays, he's going to shut you up. If Kyrie plays, he's going to shut you up and prove to you that he's a top 5 player. Because the fact that you don't think he's a top 5 player is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. Okay. Listen,
I have nothing to say.
Listen,
I'm
there's
done.
nothing Kyrie can do to make me think he's top 5.
Yes, there is. If he goes back to Boston,
there's nothing he can do in his career.
If he goes back to Boston and helps you win a chip, he'll be like, "Yo, he's the GOAT." Forget Jordan. Forget Bird. It's Kyrie. Kyrie's the GOAT because he brought us a championship.
Bro, I don't want him.
Come on, man.
I don't want him, man. We too good for him.
You say you don't want him, but you be talking so much about
him. We were too good for Kyrie. He knew it. That's why he left.
Gosh.
Yeah, he know he didn't belong underneath all them banners. That's why. The only reason why he got the chip is because of LeBron.
Come on,
I'm done.
Then you laugh. Crazy when I said that he sounded like the bitter ex-girlfriend.
Listen, he only has a chip because of LeBron. Like that's it, LeBron. All right, listen. Let's stop talking about LeBron's ex-girlfriend. All right, and let's start talking more so about these Nets. All right, y'all already seem frustrated. We haven't even got into it yet.
Because
I'm done. I said I have nothing else to say. I can't.
Y'all already seem frustrated. I can't speak to somebody.
It's not frustrating. It's just the fact that like your feelings for Kyrie is like. It's crazy insane, bro.
It's like talking to a racist and telling them black people. It's like talking to a racist and telling them black people help start rock music, and they tell me no. I'm done. There's nothing else I can say.
All right, you know what? Listen, guys, we want to pretend this conversation didn't happen. All right, let's recoup. Let's get back. Woosa.
All right,
Paul. What do you think the Nets need to do this upcoming season to actually get to where everybody thinks they should be?
Here's the thing. A lot of it is like what Jay said. They need to work out with Kyrie, and they need to figure things out fast. And the problem happens to be because of the fact that the Nets want some guarantees in his contract with playing time and all that stuff, and Kyrie's like, nah. But because of the shenanigans he pulled off last year and before and all that stuff, his track history, I don't blame the Nets for doing it, but it is what it is. And the problem with that is it's keeping KD away. It's keeping KD and Kyrie from recruiting. And right now, if they were able to go out and recruit, use all this issue, get a PJ Tucker in, you literally solidify that team so much more because now, like Jay was saying, Kyrie doesn't have to bring the ball up. People don't realize that. Yeah, if Ben is a head case on stuff, but if the team plays the way they're supposed to play, because like in any sport, anything can happen. Injuries happen, a lot of stuff happens. But if the team plays the way they're supposed to play, that team is going to be nasty. Ben Simmons brings the ball up. He doesn't have to shoot. Literally, you burden him free of a lot of things because he does not have to shoot. You got Kyrie and you got KD to shoot the ball. And PG, all he has to do is just play defense, and that's it. You're not forcing play offense. You literally telling guys, what do? Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to bring the ball up? Fine. We got shooters. We don't need you to shoot. The biggest thing they need to do, and people need to hear me and understand me, they need to get rid of Joe Harris. The reason being because of the fact his play and his money is not what he needs to be. The problem with Joe Harris is he will give you a performance and a half during the season. Come playoff time, that man's on the milk carton. Gone. Gone. You laugh, but this shit's serious, man. It's like he's gone. I'm like, did Joe Harris play? I'm looking at the stat line. Did he play? I look at the highlights. I'm like, oh, he did play. I'm like, sure that was him? So he wasn't worth that money. That's why I was upset when they gave him so much money. So if they can find a way to get rid of him, it'll open up more cap space to sign other players. Fine. They need to get rid of Joe Harris. They need to figure out a solution where KD's not bringing up the ball. He doesn't need to. Let KD run around and find his shot. He have him bring up the ball, you're asking for trouble. I want to keep Seth Curry. Patty Mills was great, but
he wasn't what was advertised.
No, he was not. He was not. It was still lacking. He wasn't Patty from San Antonio. He was like Patty before San Antonio, like 2 franchises before that.
He was drafted by San Antonio.
Was he?
And the way that the Nets are currently constructed,
I'm still heated with this. I'm not thinking straight.
Can they beat the Bucks or the Celtics next season? If
the Nets are all on fire and they're firing all cylinders, there's the only team that can stand up with them right now in the NBA on fire, the Warriors. Boston, if they're on point, can carry with them. Milwaukee, I don't feel it. Philly, only because of Joel, and there's that mismatch in the middle. Memphis is missing like a piece or two, but the thing is that center is not what they need to beat the Nets if they were to face off in the finals. So it'll be
Adams. Don't they got Steve Adams?
No, yeah, but he doesn't start. It's Jaren Jackson that starts.
It's Jaren Jackson a 4?
I don't know, because they play a lot of like small ball with them, bro. They like to fly and run. I think Sam comes off the bench.
That's funky. No, I don't like that. That's funky.
But if Steve Adams starts on there, he'll give him trouble. The problem with the Nets is they have Claxton and they had Allen before, but they don't have size in there. You got Drummond, but the problem with Drummond is he's not the Drummond like before. He's a little slower now, so it slows down the tempo of the game for them. So the Nets can win this all, and there's a handful of teams that can beat them. But it all comes down to where's Kyrie? Is Kyrie going to play? Where's his head at? That's what it comes down to. Your mic's on mute. Something's on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What do you guys think the biggest change that needed made for the next organization?
They need to get, like I said, they need to get rid of Joe Harris.
You think that's Joe Harris?
That's the biggest one for me because of the money that's going to him. Okay, so here's the thing. When I sign a player for big money, you need to play the regular season and the playoffs. If you're only playing the regular season for me, you don't deserve that big money. You get paid, but not big money like Joe Harris. You know what I mean? So that's why I always say, like, when you get big money, there's a lot of that comes into play with it.
I got you.
If we're keeping it a stack, if we're keeping it for real, the biggest change that needs to happen is a coaching change.
That's the one, but that's not going to happen because of KD.
I'm not saying you said what need. The question is what needs
Yeah,
to
what
happen.
needs to happen. Yeah.
What needs to happen, but that's
y'all need
not,
a real coach.
That's not going to
Y'all need
happen,
a
though.
real coach.
I know, but that's not going to happen. So what needs to happen? We need a new coach. That's not going to happen. So what to happen could happen. Joe Harris has to go.
So listen, if the coach doesn't change, I don't see you guys. I mean, unless you guys hire some damn good assistants that's really playing the coach, right? Somebody underneath him is really coach. I don't think you guys are beating Boston. I don't see you guys beating Milwaukee. If the coach doesn't change, y'all play that same way. Unless Ben Simmons makes all the difference. Y'all play that same way versus the Celtics. They're just going to do exactly what they did this past. Like, y'all didn't win a game. That wasn't by accident. You can't. Something needs to change. Maybe Joe Harris. I don't even think taking just Joe Harris out is going to change much. It needs to come with some type of coach and different scheme. I don't know who that is, but you can't play Durant the way you are playing him. I've never seen that guy look that bad.
Yeah, because they had him coming up the ball.
Yeah, and they're asking you to free him up. So if Ben Simmons is the difference maker and frees him up, then yeah, it'll look a lot better.
He will be the difference maker, free him up. Because the thing is, you have to remember, he was your point forward. He's like LeBron. So that's what I was saying. Like a lot of what Jay said. I know, but I was saying he's like LeBron. I didn't say he was a carbon copy of him. I just said he's like LeBron. He's a point forward. Like Jay said, that takes a lot of pressure off of Kyrie. Doesn't have to worry about passing. He just goes around and finds his opening shots. Same thing with KD. That's why the trade for Ben made more sense than it did for Harden. That's why. This is why I like Sean Marks more than Billy King. If it was Billy King would have done so much more for Ben Simmons. He did like for freaking KG and Paul Pierce. Freaking set us back for years, man. Took us years to get out of that shit.
It was a great trade for you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. You guys had the best starting five I've ever seen on paper.
Yeah, exactly. On paper.
Listen.
Freaking man. So it's gonna be tough. It's all hinges on Kyrie re-signing, but that impasse is there. And don't believe a lot of the rumors. Like there's so many rumors flying around. Kyrie to the Lakers, like that's not gonna happen. Nothing matches on there. I think it's
that'd
hilarious.
Be some funny. I'm just saying.
Hilarious.
That would be some funny shit if they swap Russ for Kyrie.
Yeah, I don't think Sean will do that.
Yeah.
I'll be pissed. You will not see me watching the next game.
You get Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons, just two guys that can't touch the fucking rim. Yeah, I would love that. Durant will probably murder himself. Listen, I would say this though. If you have Ben Simmons running a point, I can see it helping. But naturally, if I'm playing you guys in the playoff, my natural thing is to take that man playing Ben Simmons, sag off him in Kevin Durant's direction. We're still going to double the fuck out of Durant. I want Ben Simmons to pull up and take a jump shot. I'm
throwing alleys to Claxton out the wazoo then. Fuck all that.
Exactly.
Well, you could have done that. Listen, you could have tried that with Robert Williams in this season. It wasn't going to work. You could have tried that on Robert Williams.
But the thing is, who had the ball?
Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
hold on. So Kevin Durant had the ball, and the whole offense is going to Kevin Durant. So you stop Kevin Durant, you stop the entire offense.
Yep.
If Ben Simmons has the ball, he's bringing it up, and if he is the top of the key, and you double and you sag off on KD, you literally open something up for either a backdoor pass or, like Jay was saying, an alley-oop to Claxton.
No, we're not open. No, listen, I've done this. Listen. All you're doing is you're not sagging off and giving them like a thousand. You're sagging off a bit and shading towards Kevin Durant's direction. The only thing we're giving up is a Ben Simmons jump shot. Everybody should be on their man. Just whoever was guarding Ben Simmons should be shading towards Durant. If you see Durant's coming off a pick, you should be trying to jump it. Have Ben Simmons beat you. He has to have a 25, 30-point game. That's
what? All I'm telling Ben then, attack.
Exactly.
That would be the play.
6'10", I'm banging on everybody.
That would be the play. But what do you think Philly was telling Ben Simmons out there? The same thing. Was he doing it? No, because that was the same defense. There's pictures out there that you can go find of guys.
Right, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Philly was telling him the same.
Here's the thing. Who did Philly have?
Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid,
Wait. Who did Philly have for him to dish out to that could shoot? Literally, because he shoot, and you're like, he's gonna make the bucket. Did they have a KD type player? Like a KD?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they have a Kyrie? Did they have a Seth Curry? You get where I'm going at now?
So basically what he's saying is if he drives, teams will be able to be like, okay, he's going to drive right. I'm going to attack his driving hand while still having a guy in front of him. You can't sag off of nobody now. So it's like, it's your guy that's going to fall back. That's probably going to be a little guard that I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to put you in a spin cycle. Because they don't have no big, so there's nobody down low. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to attack you, stop me. I'm going to back you up, and we're going to play that game. Because defensively, you're not scoring on him. And then on top of that, if he's getting steals and he's active,
listen,
he's going to kill you.
Okay, try and picture. All right, look at this.
I'm not.
How did Marcus Smart do defending Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was playing in Philly?
I actually don't know. I would have to go check, but we eliminate him every time.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you.
I would have to check. I don't know.
Because that'll be the matchup to look at.
Yeah. I wouldn't play Marcus Smart on Ben Simmons, though. I would play Marcus Smart on Kyrie and enforce.
So who you got on him? Grant Williams?
No. I would go big. I would have Marcus Smart on Kyrie and have Tatum.
Okay.
Listen, I would go big. I'm going.
Okay.
So you're gonna put Tatum on Ben. Who's guarding
KD?
The same guy who was guarding. The same guy who was guarding Durant. Grant Williams. That's who.
So you're gonna put Grant.
I'm gonna put the same guy that played him this past season
on Kevin Durant.
Yep, the same guy that guarded him. Yep, the same guy who guarded him this past series. Yes. But listen. Yo, listen, it just worked. Listen, it just worked. But here's the thing: I'm shading Ben Simmons' defender towards Kevin Durant.
But again, you're going back to where
it worked because Kyrie missed half a season.
And it worked
because you played every game and lost in the playoffs.
And it worked because you didn't have Ben Simmons bring up the ball.
And I'm saying what you do is you sag that man off him. You play Ben Simmons the same way teams are playing Ronda. You sag off him. You make that man shoot. That's how I would go in as a coach. Listen, if we fucking lose, we're losing because that man dropped 40 on us. That's how we're losing. But one thing that's not going to happen is you let fucking Durant come off and pick and shoot that shit. I don't give a fuck.
So you're literally going to say, hey,
yes,
Ben,
yes,
here's the lane.
No, we're not giving him the lane. You're just shading towards the side that Durant's on. You're not.
Okay.
You're sagging back. So
I can't wait to see this matchup.
Yo, it's crazy. Listen, what I'll do actually, because there's some clips out there that you can actually find. This is not serious. You can see. I'll send some videos in how teams are defending Ben Simmons in the playoffs. There's actually like a 10-minute video how bad it is. You just play him the same way. Philly was telling him the same thing.
I understand. What you're saying, right? Yeah. But what you have to also understand is that a part of the reason why they could defend Ben Simmons like that was because Joel Embiid was also taking up space in the paint.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Now you're completely clearing it out. You're giving him a runway. At some point, you're going to have to send another man to
Who's
help.
That stretch five? Who's that stretch five? Who's that stretch five where the center can't be in the paint?
On Brooklyn. That's the thing. I don't know who else out of they big.
The point is, if there's no stretch five, I'm gonna just tell Robert Williams to play in the paint. Don't go guard the center who can't shoot the three. Stay in the paint. If you see Ben Simmons coming, punch his shit. That's it. That's it, bro. Until that's
so literally all I'm gonna do.
You got a guy like Simmons. If you got a guy like Simmons
out here that can shoot, so I'm gonna play KD as my 5.
You play and then once again you shade your help there. But until you get
four shooters, on nobody. This man,
I don't get
cocking it back on
you. Shade your help.
Here's the problem, Jay. Here's the problem.
Here's
the problem. He's going back to the game footage of Ben with the Sixers, but doesn't realize the Sixers don't have a KD shooter. They don't have a Kyrie off the ball shooter as well.
Because you're not fitting to go one-on-one with KD and Kyrie.
Yeah, that's my listen. And Quan, that's my point.
And then you're going back to the playoff series.
One-on-one with KD. That's
and you're going back to the playoff series.
But what you would want
wait, hold on. You're going back to the playoff series, which is fine. You can go back to that. But you have to take into account Ben wasn't playing for that. So you don't know what kind of looks you're going to get. Again, Ben Simmons will be bringing the ball up, not KD.
And again, you're talking about
game
footage with Philly. I use the example of Golden State, and this is why I said I understand why people use Draymond as a example of someone who's overvalued. But this is why I say Draymond is properly valued but overpaid. because if Draymond and somebody else is playing, it looks real clunky, it looks real messy. But what Draymond does for that team when he's attacking, and Steph and Clay are able to just run around and go crazy, versus what happens when he's not on the team and they're like, yo, we need Dre back. They've said it multiple times, like, yo, we need Draymond back. We don't see it, but if dumb basketball minds see it and they're like, yo, we need Draymond back because what he gives us, we can't replicate if he's not there. Ben Simmons' effect is very similar to that. Because you're not asking him to take, I'm not going to go up here and ask, I'm going to need you to take a top of the key jump shot. If Ben literally, all I'm looking for Ben is, yo, give me a floater. I just need you to hit a floater, dog. That's it. I need you to hit a hook shot. Can you give me a hook shot?
No, it's tough. It's tough right now. I really want to say, like, I still do think the Nets are the scariest team in the East. I'll stay firm on that. I want to see what that looks like. Because, like I said, if you do put 4 shooters around Ben Simmons, then yeah, they're tough to guard. But still, as an NBA coach, the one thing I'm telling them, the one guy I want to beat us is Ben Simmons. I will never take that message away. That needs to be the guy. He has mental issues already. Don't want to shoot. He needs to be the guy. You put pressure on him and make him feel like he has to shoot.
And that's why I always said the Nets will go, again, am I going to get a basketball team or am I going to get Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
That's why I said what I said. I'm not out here telling you that your head is in the right place. But what I'm saying is you're not accounting for the other pieces that exist. And what I'm saying about the Nets is everything has to go right because the only team that can beat the Nets, legitimately beat the Nets, is themselves because they are far too talented. That is my biggest. That's why I said I don't have a lot to say about the Nets because at the end of the day, the Nets will live and die by what happens in that locker room. What kind of culture is in that locker room, which is why I say their biggest need is a coach. Because you need somebody that's going to set the standard. You need somebody that's going to set the culture and pull out all the toxic bullshit. You need a true leader because the talent is there. The egos are what's killing this team. It's the me of it with the Nets. Mm-hmm. The Nets, literally, if the Nets can just figure out how to become a team, there's nobody in the league that can beat them.
No,
They
I agree.
literally
I
have
agree with that.
the Golden State Killer on their team. The guy who stopped that dynasty. The person who put a halt on him, on Steph Curry being tied with Shaq right now. Damn near tied with Jordan. He's sitting right there. But again, now because he's done that, he's like, I can do more. Nah, dog. Like, you may be one of the greatest ball handlers I've ever seen. You may be one of the best shot makers I've ever seen. But you have to also, you need somebody that he's gonna look at and be like, you know what? If this coach is telling me this, I respect it. There's not a lot of people that Kyrie respects. That's another big issue. There's not a lot of people that Kyrie respects, and there's got to be somebody that's gonna pull him aside and be like, yo, bro, like, I need you to do this because if you do this, then we win. If we win, you benefit. Period. And there's like, 3 people maybe in the world that Kyrie may listen to? And that's a stretch. So again, are we going to get, are the inmates going to run the asylum or are we actually going to get an NBA team here? That's why I said the Nets and the Sixers are pretty simple. If James plays like the all-world James Harden during the playoffs, shit, they win a ring. If he disappears for the umpteenth time, they don't. If the Nets can get their heads on straight, they win a championship. If they can't, then they don't.
It's been like that for the last 2-3 years.
Like it's not rocket science. It's just rich people need to get their head out their ass.
Yeah, it's been that way since Kyrie and KD arrived. You know?
I wouldn't even say that because when it first got here, they had to learn how to play together. We need to figure out what was good for us, what's not good for us.
Well,
it's not even about that. No, we know that they can play together. It's a matter of
KD got here.
Can you be comfortable in your role?
KD didn't play that first year because of the Achilles. He was still coming back for that. Kyrie, I think, played half of the year or 3/4 of the year because he got injured. And then the following year, what was that? The following year was the pandemic, right? So that was out the window. And then you had what you had.
So, I mean, you just answered your own question. Like, can this team be a team? Like, can they even play together? We don't know. We don't have enough of a sample size to say that they can play together.
Yeah. I mean, look at the way that a trio came out. KD, Harden, and Kyrie only played 16 games together. That's it. 16 games together. In those 16 games, motherfuckers was unstoppable, though.
Yeah, no, they weren't. You couldn't stop them. So, I mean, again, what nets are we going to get? That's what it comes. What are we going to get from them? Because at the end of the day, can they do it for 82 games? I doubt it. But if they can do it for 62, 62 ain't bad.
I mean, think about this. The Nets were in first place for a good portion of the season before KD got hurt.
Coasting.
Yeah. KD got hurt. There was nobody there to take over. Now imagine if it was both KD and Kyrie. KD only got hurt because he was getting so many minutes. It was ridiculous. But if he wasn't there. Huh?
Bad coaching.
Yeah. So if you can limit KD's minutes and keep him healthy, and you got full of Kyrie for the whole season, and you got Ben, and you just tell Ben, hey, you don't got to shoot on this team. That's why we got KD and Kyrie. Bring up the ball, move the ball around. If you got the lane, go take it. If you got Claxton, give him an alley-oop. Whatever you need to do. You don't got to shoot. You can work on your jumper whenever you can. You're not forced to it. And again, if you want to go back to footage, go back to a few years ago when the Nets were playing Philly. We literally gave Ben spacing to shoot. Fucking killed us. He killed us.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you want to take that gamble and say, Ben, kill us, he will. He will kill you.
He might fuck around and kill you.
I mean,
if you can live with that, then by all means.
I mean, he won't. I mean, I've seen the Celtics beat Philly multiple times in the playoffs. He won't.
Again,
but listen.
Apparently, it only takes one time for it.
Yeah, but that's not going to be 4 times in the playoffs. Listen, what I'm saying is I would go in there all series long, and my one message would be consistent. If we're losing, it's not because KD dropped 40, it's because Kyrie dropped 30, it's because Ben Simmons dropped 30. That's what's going to happen. That's the message. I don't. You guys can run with this as much as you want to. If I'm any opposing coach, bro, simply put, he needs to kill us. That guy's head is mentally fried. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. I don't even know if he's going to play basketball anymore. He talked about his back hurt. I don't know what the fuck's going on at home.
I think he had to do that for the whole thing where get the money back.
Mean, he is going to decide the Nets. At this point, Kyrie should play every game next season, right? The Nets should look like the Nets, go right back in the first place. They should look like the Nets. They should be fine, right? Problem is, once you get locked into a 7-game series, what does Ben Simmons look like? What happens when teams start to sag off him? Is KD bringing the ball back up? Are they going to make any adjustments? I really think the coach should be changed. But the idea is the Nets should go right back to being at the front of the Eastern Conference, definitely the most scariest team. Mm-hmm. But the idea when we're saying team, I don't know if they're a team yet. And that's all I have to say on the Nets, pretty much.
They ain't got time to not be a team. They better be a team. Shit.
They got to figure it out. Yeah. So here's the thing: Ben needs to come back off that surgery, and if he comes back 100%, we're good. Kyrie needs to figure out his contract. If he gets that, then they can start recruiting. So the scariest thing for everybody in the NBA is going to be if Kyrie and the Nets can come to an agreement, and then KD is happy and he starts recruiting. Because right now, I heard that KD is not recruiting anybody for the Nets right now because he wants his contract situated first. Imagine if they get PJ Tucker. Imagine if they get another player or so on another vet minimum. Because it's like, yo, just come in here, vet minimum, look what we're doing, we out. But the problem has to be is they need to make sure Kyrie is guaranteed to play the season. If Kyrie can play the whole season with KD and Ben all has to do, like I said, just be the pass facilitator. You had a PJ Tucker into there? Come on, man. You can't tell me that's not be a scary team right there with those 4 alone.
No, I mean, like I said, I think the team's already scary as it is. But if I'm also a vet and I'm looking to ring chase, right? Brooklyn feels like the one place I don't want to sign with. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. Like, I don't know if Ben Simmons is playing. Kyrie's iffy. That guy can be anywhere, any
I
WNBA.
know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. If Ben Simmons comes back normally, and Kyrie fixes his contract, that's why I said those things.
Yeah,
that's why I said those things. KD will recruit. Everything is already guaranteed in place. He can recruit with all these assurances. Right now, he's not recruiting because there is no assurance. You know what I mean? So once he has the assurances, he could go, "Hey, PJ, you want to come with us for ring chase?" It didn't work in Miami because y'all have no shooters. You got me and Kyrie, we shooters. We got Ben bringing the ball up. All you got to do is do this and this, and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. KD needs that assurance that Kyrie's taken care of, and then he'll do his thing and recruit.
I mean, I don't know. You know what? I would say this, so I'll cap it off on this. It feels like if KD's not recruiting, I feel like that would mean he knows something, right? Because naturally, it's me on the outside. In my mind, I just naturally think Kyrie's going to resign. Like, this is just a big game of bluff. Like, Kyrie's just trying to get the contract. Like, you would just naturally know, KD should know Kyrie's coming back, so I should be trying to get him now. So if this is stalling, in my mind, it feels like KD knows something, or that could be a real situation. Like, Kyrie might not be trying.
You have to remember, KD's been on radio silence since they lost.
Yeah, well, I'm talking in terms of just recruiting, right?
No, I know, but he's been radio silent since then.
Yeah.
So this is going like way back. So it's not like he just like stopped talking to him last week. This is going way back then. And again, that's why I'm saying I think the reason why he's not recruiting is because he wants to be able to recruit like a PJ Tucker, whoever else, and be like, hey, everything's settled out. This is Kyrie. This is going on Kyrie. Everything's settled out. If I'm recruiting you and you're like, well, what's Kyrie going to do? Is he coming back? What's he doing? Because you don't know. Well, all you know is KD's there and Ben is there, but you don't know if Kyrie's there, and you want that shooter, but you don't know what's going on. But if I could tell you Kyrie's coming back and I worked it out with him, Nets worked it out with him, he's playing.
But I guess even when I hear you say that, though, if I'm Kevin Durant, I should be able to recruit right now. I should know Kyrie's coming back, right? That should cause some uncertainty. I should know, though.
But the thing is, you're forgetting the fact that they're having disagreements over contracts, things in the contracts. So that's why you don't know if he's coming back. He's coming back or resigning because they gotta figure that out first. KD doesn't want to go assuming that Kyrie's gonna sign back, and he doesn't. So then he literally promises something to somebody during the recruiting process that didn't happen. That's why he's waiting for the ducks are in a row. And look, guaranteed he's done. Boom, it's here. We out. I'm not going to recruit you if there's still questions out there. I'd rather recruit you when everything is answered. Makes it much easier to recruit you.
No, it definitely does. But I'm saying when you put it like that, it sounds like a concern. It sounds like he might actually not come back. Like this is actually like a thing. You know?
Well,
it's like
he comes back, but he has that 1 year. That's it. You know? That's it. And then at that point, it's like, okay, you're going to get traded. But then the fact is, he can't get traded because the KD will be upset.
Yep.
So at that point, you might have to look at it a whole new fiasco for the Nets. The Nets went from being the scariest team in the NBA the last 2 years or so to go into a complete full rebuild again. And if KD and Kyrie are out, you damn straight, Nash is going to be out not too long after that. After KD gets traded or leaves, if Nash is still there, we're gonna have an interim coach. real quick. So a lot has to do now with the contract negotiations between Kyrie and the Nets, and it needs to get done quick so that we can start figuring out everything else and filling out the holes. Right now we can't because of that, you know. So it sucks that this is what happens when players have power. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It just happens where this is the negative part of it. This is the negative part of it. You know, there's always a positive and negative to it. This is the negative part of it because of the fact that the team is at a standstill, everything is at a standstill. You know, and then you got rumors that aren't helping either. Because there's always something about Kyrie happening. Always.
That's always true.
Like I said, Kyrie and KD are the easiest targets for the media, you know, because KD doesn't like to talk and he'll always respond back. And Kyrie, just because he has this bad stigma where if it's something happened, because it's Kyrie, it's probably true, but it really isn't. But because Kyrie is Kyrie, he's like a free spirit. You were like, yeah, he don't give a hell about nothing. He probably did do that. No, it most likely didn't happen. It's just they're too easy targets for the media. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Well, look, man, this has been good. We'll see. Like I said, I would say this for sure. I think the Nets should be able to take over the Eastern Conference next year. I can say that probably pretty comfortably. I still think overall they're probably a better team than Boston. I just want to see how it gels. I don't have much faith in Ben Simmons, but I want to see how it gels. I want to see how the coaching looks. I want to see what the scheme looks like. But overall, if everything works, I think they're a better team than Boston. So I would expect the Nets to be right back to where probably most people would think they should be.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season to watch overall in the Atlantic Division. Because like we were saying earlier, where the Raptors going? What are they going to do? What are the Knicks going to do? Are they going to stay put and just build? Is Thibodeau going to do anything different this year coming up? Doubt it, because he's freaking stuck in his ways. Can Julius Randle turn it around and just last year was just a bad year? You know? I know. I was surprised when y'all resigned for that much money
in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Boston is, what are they going to do with their backcourt? Are they going to upgrade it, and if so, how? You know, how are they going to reduce those turnovers? You know, who's the other team? The Sixers. How is Sixers going to look? Is Harden going to be all in? Is he going to be upset? You know, and throw another tantrum and get traded again? You know, is he going to put on that fat suit again?
For real. I mean, it's fucking dropping pounds in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so there's a lot. We'll come back another day with another division for you guys. We'll figure out which one. I don't want to say anything right now. It's been fun. Court Kings is back. We got Eric here and Quan the Don.
Yo, I really pissed off Quan tonight. As soon as we said that whole Kyrie thing, my man left.
We're not talking about it.
I don't even know where you went. Honestly, I thought you left the state.
I had to go and get a drink.
I still can't believe you said that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that y'all don't even believe it, bro. It's not a top 5. Listen, we'll have this conversation in the chat. Listen,
I have nothing else to say to you about that.
I don't know if y'all know where I'm from. I'm from Boston. I can probably tell by the Kyrie hit, right? But just so y'all know, he's not a top 5 player. And y'all tell him now that y'all know him. Y'all say,
let me mute his mic. Where is it? See, I got the power. I can mute your mic. Even though you don't realize on your mic, if you touch right there at the top, it mutes it too.
Oh, got you.
Like tap the top of the mic right there. Yeah.
All right, I bet. All right, man, it's been good. I'll definitely catch up with y'all. This has been good. Hopefully come back with another division soon. Celtics every day, Boston everything. Y'all hate us because y'all ain't us.
Yeah, he's trying to find his car keys.
It's your cousin from Boston. I know the vibes.
Looking for his car keys.
Looking for my car keys.
And they wonder why people hate them.
Yeah, right?
No, I ain't never wondered why people hate us. Mm-hmm. It's because they ain't us. I already said it. It doesn't even matter, bro.
Who wants to be Boston?
Listen.
Bostonian.
Yo, who wants to be a Warriors? That's what I heard you just say.
Who wants to be Bostonian?
Who wants to be
Bostonian? Who wants to be Bostonian? What is there in Boston? Y'all didn't have good pizza.
What do you mean?
Who?
You said who's from Boston?
Who you got? What do you have in Boston? What would attract me to be in Boston? Not the pizza.
Oh,
not the bagels.
Fat asses.
Oh, find that in New York. Any of the 5 boroughs.
Bro asses, beaches.
Could still find that in 5 boroughs. Could find the beaches in Jersey.
That's what I said, bro. I said for the longest time, New York and Boston's the same place. One's just a place that people want to be. Boston. That's all I'm saying. Like New York just smells. Yo, we're not gonna get here. Listen.
No. Okay, we out. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.